Night, everybody. Welcome to this week's Brick Talk. I'm Randy, and as always, I start off every week's Brick Talk by reminding you guys that you should not buy or sell anything that we speak about on the show or anybody else speaks about on the show. I'm not a licensed investment advisor. And while Dana is a licensed investment advisor, while he's on the show, he's not acting as an investment advisor. All right. So speak to a licensed investment advisor in a session personalized to you about what it is that you should buy or sell. Don't just buy or sell something just because people on the internet talk about it. So, having said that, welcome to this week's Brick Talk. The title for this week's Brick Talk is I almost was going to call it "Waiting in Vain," but I realized we'd used that one before. So, this week's Brick Talk is actually around suspension. Left in suspense, which is obviously inspired by a couple of the things that happened this week, which is chief among which was the suspension of DTL, Derman Traders Limited. And Derman was suspended this week. I think, was it Wednesday? And I Wednesday, yeah, one of them. Wednesday, yeah, it was suspended for the non submission of. I'll read the actual proper. Yeah, the non-audited from their last year, the 2025 audited financials, right? So, of course, I figure a couple of people might have a lot of questions around this. And as always, we encourage you guys to join in and talk to us, send your questions, um, let us know what you have in mind, what you're thinking, what you're not thinking. We always want to hear your voices. And on topic and also off topic, if you have something else you want to talk to us about, we're always willing to have that conversation, right? And like we are doing last week, I let you guys know we're not going to be here all night, right? We're not going until 2 o'clock like in the old days. So if you have anything you definitely want to talk to us about, you want to hear a view on, you definitely should send a speaking request on Twitter. I'll say that again. If you have anything you want to talk to us about, you definitely should send a speaking request on Twitter. And yeah, we'd love to get into it with you. So if you're on YouTube or any other video platforms, just check the link in the description, and you'll see the link to Twitter. And we'd love to hear from you. Right. Uh, Having said that, yeah, I've already given the welcome. Sorry, but yeah. So this week, big story was that, or one of the many things that happened this week. One of the biggest things that happened, I'll tell you, was that DTL Derman Traders Limited was suspended. Like you heard, and I was just correcting me Wednesday. It's almost like it's fuzzy already for me. Is it were they suspended Wednesday, or they got to trade on Wednesday and then they got suspended? I, yeah, the days run together. Uh, so the suspension happened June 3rd. Well, sorry, not June 3rd. The last trading happened June 2nd. So there are 4 trades on June 2nd. Yeah, and then Wednesday the notice came out. Sorry, Wednesday the notice came out on JSC saying, suspension. And yeah, if I remember correctly, it was Wednesday morning too. So I guess I wouldn't say no warning. I don't know if people think no warning, but the trade Tuesday, and then Wednesday in the morning. I'm not even going to say ahead of trading. I'm gonna say, let's be accurate. So the news story came out from the post came out from JSC Wednesday, and it was 9:01. So right at the start of trading. Right at the start of trading. So they pointed out that they're traded, that they were suspended in keeping with the junior market rules, and the state which rule it is, and specify that it's around audited annual financial statements, because Derryman, as you'll see if you check My Money JA, has not actually submitted their audited results yet for 2025. So the full year audit, or the fourth quarter for that matter. They didn't even do the Q4. So right? Like, make it for the pre-open. I mean, yo, it didn't even come out for 8:30. Let me check something. Let me see if there's any pre-open movements that were happening. Yeah, no, even I never realized it, how down to the minute it was. So June 2nd, uh, so Tuesday, June 2nd, it was trading. And then Wednesday, June 3rd, okay, they cleared the queues and everything. Damn. So nothing, yeah. Clear the queues and everything, but they send a notice out after market open. So if you're preparing to do anything, if you're wondering how it was going to go, blah, 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 yeah, boom, you'd have been burnt. Now, granted, granted, if you know a bit about the market, you know about the market rules, you maybe wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's been due, right? And I'm surprised that they didn't even do audited. They didn't do unaudited. Which reason? So we have two things. Okay, so hi, that shit. The notice before that was up, Shay. Uh, so the re so there is that one, right? But before I even touch that one, yeah, just to be clear, because this is an official thing. The official reason given by JSC for it is the oh, I misunderstood what you meant, Dana. You meant the reason for them not putting out their financials. Okay, I mean I don't know if they said that this is the reason, but um, so it was 92. Well, they definitely didn't. It was 92 days overdue on June 2nd, right? So it was really up. JC actually gave a little bit of leeway. Uh, but Derrimon on June 2nd stated that let me not, let's read the exact words here. I'll jump over the boring bits. DTL advises shareholders on the market that during the course of its full year 2025 year-end audit, matters were identified requiring further review and validation prior to the finalization of the audited financial statements. As part of the audit review process, questions arose regarding information generated from the company's ERP environment. Whatever companies start to go all corporate talk, it's like when politicians start to go all lawyer talk, right? Following consultation with management and the board, the company's auditors commissioned its experts to do additional work to assess the nature, extent, and implication of issues identified. The board considers it important that the company's audited financial statements be released only after the relevant matters have been appropriately reviewed, validated, and assessed, and that stakeholders are provided with information that is complete, reliable, and properly contextualized. Um, the additional time is intended to facilitate completion of the review process and ensure that stakeholders receive information that is complete, reliable, and supported by an appropriate understanding of the underlying issues. They're saying the same thing twice. I'm surprised they don't say it a third time. No, this is it. I'm sure. I'm sure they get to it. You're right. You might be right. Actually, no, because this is not what I read. I'm gonna find that thing in a minute while we're talking afterwards. Then the thing that I think we're talking about the same thing. In 2 minutes, I'll find it, and yeah. Um, Reliable support, yada yada yada. Financial reporting timeline delay. In light of the ongoing review and validation process, the company advises that the publication of its audited financial statements for yeah, yeah, yeah. They throw the big words into this. I am not a fan of when that is done on JSC, where a notice comes out and then the exact notice itself can be changed after the fact, but there's no yeah, if you will, there's nothing publicly showing. Yeah, you have to find it. You have to be able to. like there'll be a notice, and it's notice X, and then that will be edited, and there won't be anything even to say that it's edited. You'll just see under the same link and everything for notice X, you'll see the new thing. Yeah. Management is working closely with auditors to expedite the review and to integrate the findings in the results. Based on current expectation, the company anticipates releasing the audited financial statements within approximately 30 days, i.e. by June 30th. So they need the rest of this month to do it. The company is committed to fulfilling its disclosure obligations and to completing a review and financial yada yada yada. Additionally, Derriman remains focused yada yada yada. All right, so this is not the thing that I saw. If you remember off the top of your head what the things that you think you saw that night. Okay, so um so that's not at all what I saw. So you see, they have a notice. If you look at MMJA, you'll notice that there's a June 1 notice, and the link to that goes to the June 2 notice. All right, but on June 1, so it's the same link. This is an example of what they did. So MMJA allows you to see this, and on JSC, you wouldn't be able to see it. Yeah. What I remember from June 1, it not the accounting system. I hate to paraphrase them on this, so I'll also look up a moment, but they spoke about some discrepancies that were found when they did the audit, when the audit was happening, and they hinted at or spoke to uh they hinted at or spoke to um what do we call that? Pretty much what's a fancy term to say that employees thief? Yeah, but I don't think it's JBG level. Yeah, we would have read two different reasons. So the yeah, I don't even know about the fanciness, boy. I'm gonna because I do have the thing there. So more context, which obviously I didn't say here, but there is a newspaper article from I'm gonna say maybe a month ago. Uh, let me find it so that you can see. But you guys can talk, and then I'll follow it up. So what do you mean?
If it really is happening more and more, or is it that I'm just now noticing that it's happening? But yeah, I feel like it's happening more and more.
Or then it might also be the case that more people are it might also be the case that more are in breach.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I can't actually think that I can't actually definitively speak that and say, oh, companies that should have been suspended were not being suspended. I feel so, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't actually. I don't have evidence to get up and go run it down.
Yeah. Okay.
I think my that guy going on. Yeah,
Yeah, I hear people saying that
But yeah,
they're not hearing you. I think people saying that they're not hearing you, Dana and Jay, but it might be on my end also. So
I think I'm losing internet actually. So it might be something with the ping. The light is
yeah,
doing
now
the thing again. The red is tearing. So
oh, I get you. They were
I
just on
see
a
the
delay. I think they
see
said
the
they're
power
hearing you
draw on the
now.
light dim.
Okay. uh, so I was saying that there is Shay, you still with us, right?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
All right, perfect. I was saying that there is this article, and this article is from April 22nd. Uh, and it came out. So the article is from the Gleaner, and I'll share the link to that also. Share the link to that for anybody who's following on Twitter and want to see the link. But there's an article there speaking to the former Derman employee implicated in a $29 million fraud granted bail. And that's April of this year, April 2026. All right. An accounting clerk implicated in a $29 million fraud at Derman was today granted $2 million bail when he appeared.
Why this sound familiar?
We were talking about it in the girl group, so maybe you saw it. It was granted.
This is how recent is this? When
April
it
22nd of this year.
not the article, not the article. Did something happen, or maybe it might have been there. Okay, yeah. April. I was thinking April just happened, but not just. You're right. You might be right.
Yeah, I mean April kind of just happened, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I was thinking closer.
Closer than April. There might be something else. Who knows? So yeah, the former employee Shamar Dawson, 30, who is jointly charged with Leonardo Gibson, was offered bail by the yada yada yada. I'm gonna jump to the. I mean, the whole thing's important, if especially if you're a detailed shareholder, because I assume that this is a major part of what it is that you saw. So I'm referencing the notice that I remember seeing on the morning, right? Not on the morning, like the day before. And it spoke about something discovered. To be fair with you, the notice never really makes sense to me. That's the truth. The original notice never made that sense to me. The original notice was saying something like they notice some stuff, and when they notice it, they immediately alerted an external third party auditor to go into it, blah blah blah. It looked like a rush thing that was put out there, and then this notice now look like the cleanup notice, right? Yeah, it looked like a rush notice, and then this is the cleanup notice. Now, bottom line is this is what it looked like. It looked like there is a bit of hanky panky on the, not a bitter hanky panky, some serious hanky panky. Some serious hanky panky here, because losses. Investigators said the scheme led to losses totaling 29 million, with Gibson accused of encashing 17 checks valued at more than 18 million. I don't know how that works. So the extra 11 million come from. Some of the checks were reportedly made payable to Gibson, who was falsely presented as a legitimate supplier to the company. So again, just the important part here, well, the whole thing important again, but it's alleged that Dawson, in his capacity as an accounting clerk, falsified invoices and other financial documents, bypassing established procedures to facilitate the preparation of multiple checks. Now, if that's an accounting clerk in the accounting department of DTL, then you can understand why DTL. Well, I don't know how this audit would be going in, right? Well, I shouldn't say I don't know what the audit is doing, because this isn't like something that is not that this is what audits are for. The alleged fraud occurred between March 2024 and February 2026. That raises some questions, though. Because March 2024, that's a different financial year.
Yeah. That cross.
No one caught it?
Bro. 3 years of crime.
Yeah.
No one caught it.
Or are you?
Hold the damn thing. It's 29 mil spread out over that long, Shit. And legitimate supplier, so it was falling within the line of somebody seeing it and signing off for it as, oh, that's okay, and the people that say the right thing, saying it's right, say it's okay. So, I mean, the
and
audit should catch it. Should.
it passed one audit already.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2025 audited numbers are now in question.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a hell of a loss in 2025. The 2024-25 financial year.
Four.
Well, yeah,
We're
but
waiting on 5 now.
yes, yeah. So their financial year matches the calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2024, they booked $500 million in losses, 538 million in losses. So I'm guessing this would have been included in that.
So the man them said easy feel right. The crook them say, yeah man, we lose money already. We can just swing. Yeah, good, crazy.
But how does that cross?
The
How does
audit.
that make it pass an audit? Yeah.
Yeah. Same like the JBG question, eh? Like this should be the case. It should be, yeah. The reason the auditor is here is what.
Yeah.
Entire point.
Well, I mean, is this kind of fraud hard to catch?
So how I think of it is, especially because it's coming from the accounting department. These are people that liaise with auditors to say, oh, this is whatever. So I'm telling you, it's a legitimate service and whatever.
But auditor still checks. Well, they don't check everything, right? And they can't check everything.
They do samples, and sometimes something don't fall within the sample, and then like imagine how it goes. Like, you know, like the auditor comes and say, all right. It also depends on like what the internal process is for recognizing a vendor.
So there's that. It definitely, well, I shouldn't say it needs collusion. It needs collusion, assuming that their internal processes are up to scratch.
Yeah.
Because it should.
Because not everybody has certain things from a vendor to say, oh, whatever. And then it's invoices. And so invoice is sent. And then the guy who's supposed to sign it is signing it.
Well, I don't think that the clerk can sign it, right? So.
Well, also it might send over somebody this, and then that person sign it.
Assuming that the internal processes are set up that way.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's either somebody not looking at the signing or collusion, or
process is weak.
Or another or is that maybe at first the starting amounts were small, so it kind of slip under the radar, you know? Yeah, so like maybe you only need management to sign off on something over whatever. But no matter what, you
should 29 million over. 29 million over the whole time.
Yeah, assuming that. I mean,
this is it. Yeah. I mean, if based on the region that over that time.
March 2024. That's what 7 quarters. 29 million over 7 quarters. However you put together, you're going to pass. Whatever, 17 checks valued at more than 18 million.
They call a wicked salary, you know?
Second salary.
Second, that's a whole team, bro.
Wow.
7 quarters. 7 quarters is like 2 years of work. 30 million, 15 million. When I get paid like a CEO, bro.
Yep.
Shamar Dawson and
Leonardo
Jibinson. Yeah, that's kind of what I so you see 2 people are involved. Yeah, 2 people are involved. I mean, DTL. Romaine Dawson. I'm not saying that Romaine Dawson has anything to do with it. I just saw the last name Dawson. I'm hoping that whoever that is maybe BBA is what? Bachelor's in accounting? Yeah, that's kind of wild. The outside of course, the oh my god of it all, you wonder how this made it past an audit before, and the auditors. I mean, the audit done is who, but Baker Tilly. So I can see sleeping. I guess it make it past one. It couldn't make it past two. Uh, and so then it's a problem now. It stops this audit, assuming that this is the reason why the audit has been stopped. Yeah, assuming that this is the reason why the audit has been stopped. How do you then like you're like a big number might get assigned to you? Last year the loss was 538 million, over $500 million, right? This year, but we don't know what it is this year because we haven't heard it yet. But who knows, this year there might be a bigger number, and boy, we're not take that. So you have to get it up to the first 3 quarters that they are reported a profit. But last year, this time, well, the year before last, this time, for the first 3 quarters, they also did report a profit, 89.8 million in profit. And then when the full year came out, $500 million in losses. So they wiped it out. Same this year. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Because I can't imagine that they actually have even a loss this year, especially with Woodcats.
I mean, I don't think. All right, this is what this is. Is this within the realm of a strong loss for detail? This level thing? I don't think so. But if I lost in that case, I say that's the reason. Right? I wouldn't say this is any strong reason for any poor performance from detail side. This specific thing.
No.
Them. But yeah, the thing I was looking at is that you just list Woodcats. This look ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I listed a company, I listed a subsidiary, and then I get suspended immediately. Yeah, the optics of that was not pretty.
Not at all. And
yeah, and it throws doubt on Woodcats because it just same house.
Sweat equity. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't know what to say because I don't. You're never there, so you never know it. But as a shareholder, you wouldn't want this. And it's not like and a lot of big speak, a lot of nice words are in it, but this isn't. Is the December 2025 results? Is not no. So and we're in June, almost 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we are. Let's be serious. These companies know how the results go. January 1.
That's why I was thinking. So I was looking at because I saw it was accounting system. I thought, that's why the thing. So I'm reading this. And I'm like, wait. But I don't know on top of it. So I'm really wondering where I saw the accounting system thing. Where's that?
Maybe
I didn't imagine it.
Well, as part of the audit process, questions arose regarding information generated from the company's ERP. That is their accounting system. Mm-hmm. So
that's I guess I'm married at the two. But yeah, not a good look at all. And then not a good thing at all for like shareholders.
Raise serious questions. And I mean, it makes it hard for me. At least for me here, I'm not a detailed shareholder, thankfully. Mm-hmm. Like you've seen them do things in the past, like across the market. It's hard. I don't like when people say things like, "Oh, like I see a Bridging tweet say, JC, anything on the JC a scam, blah blah blah," and they love the US market. And I don't like stuff like that, but stuff like this makes it hard to
okay, yeah, exactly.
argue otherwise.
I know what you're talking about, but it's hard to argue there on that one. Because you have a point on this and say about this one.
Exactly.
There, you got that.
And then the question then
I
becomes
mean, this doesn't say anything on JC because he's one in Nabaga, whoever's. But
true.
I know the situation you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's
They
not
were
like there
not
aren't
trust.
yeah,
Because
yeah, it's a trust. Yeah.
it, yeah. I mean, what I say I mean is, you can't tell me the US market. Let's be real, bro.
Yeah, we know it
They are
happens on the
losing
US
people.
market. We know it happens.
Yeah.
People steal all over the world. But
Exactly that. So that is not an argument against. This is not but I know it's the preconceived notion we have, and everybody does that thing. Oh, Jamaica not good enough. Jamaica waiting there. We're too close to the problem. So whenever we see things, it's better. Yeah, I think the better broad thing. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really see the issues in America certain ways. And it needs to be much louder when one in the small amount of companies that we have listed have an issue like this. So it's going to become a loud situation, and it's what 1% of the market versus 1,000th, right? So yeah, it becomes it's easy to cast doubt in that way. So I don't yeah. So I don't like the optics of that at all. I would love if all go forward and no suspension. Nobody have a strong reason for suspension or anything like that. But again, on the JSC side, I am happy that they do punish.
yeah. And
Enforce
they
the rules.
they are enforcing the rules. I mean, they gave them a little bit more time to. Some would say that maybe you shouldn't even do that, right? But they did give them a little bit more time because they got suspended June 3rd, not June
But
morning.
also, yeah, within there, with the suspension is a in some ways a hit on the shareholders more than the people, more than the company listed, right? In some ways.
Correct.
So
Correct.
so I can see JC's angle on that side to say, all right, so if I feel like if I'm gonna give a little bit of leeway so you can remedy the problem and don't come in the heavy on me because the person that is first punished is not the company. They're not necessarily losing money in that way out for this.
It's the
Or
owners of the company.
owners of the company get hit. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The owners of the companies, the shareholders are getting hit on this, and it makes it so hard among the conversation with the common man and woman to trust because them they worry.
yes.
They worry.
It does like the thing. It does. Oh, I put my money in a bank, but them rob bank.
Exactly.
But on them rob mattress too. But I can't go tell you that now because them rob JC, then JC do whatever. It's not a spoke in the wheel of the boat situation. Oh, but them do this, whatever. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Ooh.
Invest your money. So it's what happened to both? Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Shay, I know you're making some points. I mean, like, how does it make you feel? How do you think, people see
It's
it?
just going to be harder because I'm the one people uh are coming to and saying, yo, I'm afraid of them thing that them investment something they are, man. Yes, I've thought about it, but boy, I don't know, cause Bolt and this and what if I lose all my money and can't trust them and so it's difficult for regular people to get up and start investing, and those who were kind of touching the market before, or even just now testing it out, you don't need news like this right now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad for people getting started. It's bad for people who just started. It's for people who want to get started. Makes the conversation harder.
And this whole thing runs on trust.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing runs on trust. I want
Mm-hmm.
to put my money somewhere outside of my eye. That's the
Yeah.
only reason I don't want
So
to put it under my mattress because I
mm-hmm.
can trust me.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I say to people, savings account is not it, then what am I going to, I can't convince them under these circumstances. If we keep having news like this coming out, it's a more difficult conversation for them.
Yeah.
So I hate that. Um, and I still think we have to combat it. Those of us who have been around and kind of understand more have to combat the fear. Because really and truly, there are a lot of companies on the market, and this is one. This is one of many.
Yeah. And also, we've spoken about this many weeks about us having to have, like, us, the investors are the ones that are the market. So is we have to kind of have a more mature look at it, right? Like I always say, the
Mm-hmm.
presence, if you have banks, you're going to have bank robbers. The presence
Mm-hmm.
of a bank robber doesn't mean that you don't use a bank. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the presence of this, like, you look on the pluses of it. JC is doing their job, right? The JC Armada is doing
Yeah.
what they expect. And of course, you're not going to get any necessarily any greater detail. JC is not going to tell you about their client detail and how long they've been pressing them for them to submit the things, right? But again, these
Mm-hmm.
guys, they get suspended because they're a month and a half, 3 months. They get suspended because they're 3 months late, not 3 months after the thing, 3 months after the thing due, and the thing is due 3 months after the month done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a full 6 months after the fact that the auditor hasn't come out. And honestly, the presence of hanky panky theft or alleged theft or whatever does, me coming from the shareholder perspective, the retail investor perspective, it don't matter if the picture is bad, show us the picture, right? What this whole
Mm-hmm.
highfalutin message sound like is like, yo, the thing look bad and we want you have context. We know why you have more questions than answers. So we want you have context, so we're not putting it out. In other words, I'm not saying that they were saying this, but from the retail investor perspective, it looks this way. I can say
Mm-hmm.
from my perspective, it looks this way. It looks like, yo, we would rather you not be able to sell your shares on the market than tell you about the thing that's bad in any detail. Because again, I could be wrong, but I don't believe that the auditors couldn't get the thing done. I figured the audit done a long time and they just don't like the picture it looked like. Or maybe it
Mm-hmm.
raised even greater questions because, like I say, it crosses financial years. That is a hell of a question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, so it's like the company making the choice, say, yo, the board considers the company's audited financial statements that the board considers it important the company's audited financial statements be released only after the relevant matters have been appropriately reviewed, validated, and assessed, and that stakeholders are provided with information that is complete, reliable, and properly contextualized. In other words, we're clear on what happened, but we don't know what would have the right answer to yet as to why it happened. So I would rather you not be able to trade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if I like. I know I don't like that, and I know I don't like that as a strategy, as a move. I know I know I don't like that, and I know
Yeah, it
deal
kind
is,
of leaves a bad taste in your mouth
yeah, man.
because it just feels wrong. It feel yeah, it makes me go,
Yeah, like, why, and this is the right thing happening, by the way, guys. Right, so this is the right thing happening, and I think I like that JC a couple, was this now, a year, 2 years now, kind of started being a lot more no nonsense about
mm-hmm.
their market rules, including the
Yeah, I do
suspensions.
like that.
Yeah,
We need that. I think that's one way of combating the fear around investing, the mistrust is for those who have the power to do something, to do something.
yeah.
So I'm glad that they have taken this step to start actually, suspending people.
which which then raises a different set of questions because
Mm-hmm.
the actual suspension is for is for the late results, right? Which the
Right.
company chose not to put out. They didn't say not, they're not saying that the audit not ready. And pretty much saying that you're the audit ready, but them don't want to put it out.
But something.
Yeah, they don't want to put it out yet.
A lot of words.
Exactly. So I then think about that and
We're
what other
getting
companies are
punished.
late. Yeah, man, other companies are late too. You get me? Other companies are late.
Mm-hmm.
Other companies are, well, they're
Are
not.
other companies this late?
No, because that's why I say I believe JC at least is doing their due by suspending them. As I said, they went 2 days over, but yeah, they're not. Other companies aren't
Who went
quite
2 days
as
over? So the suspension should have been,
from the 90th day,
which year was when?
2 days before. Cause they suspended on 92 days.
Big
So
up the June 1 Smaddy Day.
right.
Wait, wait. In that 7 million and odd traded shares on the first, big up them.
Oh wow, I never even look at that. I never saw
Yeah,
that.
man.
But you
What?
said,
Look at the trading.
oh yeah, there's a big trade. There's a big trade. June 1 at 148,
Hey, man, big up them.
899,000. Yeah, that's a big, yeah, 1.1 million. And in fact, the trading on June 1,
Mm-hmm.
6.97 million units traded on that day.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Right?
Maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing. So
It
let's
could
see.
be nothing. It
Let's
could be
see.
nothing. Could be absolutely nothing.
Let's
I'm
see.
just
So
saying it
so
happened.
over the past 12 months, counting from June 1st, 2026, going all the way back to is it June 1st, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
The average, I don't want to get this wrong,
Mm-hmm.
the average trades each day, the average volume traded each day was average volume traded was 568,000. 500.
You're not serious. What?
I am dead serious. So
Well, big
the
up the
daily
year 11
average.
Smaddy then.
In fact, if you take out, on May 14th, there was a large, massive trade, right, of 19.3 million units. So
Yes, man. Them that day them attack, yes. Big
if
up
you
them.
if you exclude that day, if you exclude May 14th,
May 14, yeah.
so if you exclude May 14th, uh, then the average trades falls, the average volume falls to 458,000. Right? 458,000.
Wow.
And on June 1, we had 6.9 million units. It's a little higher than the average. Yeah? Just at TOPS, just about 10x, more than 10x, more than
Mm-hmm.
11x. My God, more than 11 times. But again, if you know that, this thing isn't, if you see that the company is late, because at that point, June 1, the company is almost it is 98 days overdue. Yeah, you get out by any means, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if that's really what happened. Obviously, I don't know at all what happened, but I'm surprised that I'm very surprised. Also, DTL a Barita associate?
Yes. They own like a ton of the shares.
Yeah, they own like 20%. Boy, they own
Mm-hmm.
20%. How could Barita also? But well, Barita are not gonna allow this to rain on them parade, but they do own directly 20.26% of the shares, at least up until the last time it was reported to us. So, uh, And as it is saying, it has been reported. The last one reported is September last year. But wow, between September last year and today, between October 1 and today, yeah, that many shares don't trade, and nowhere near that level would have traded. I
Mm-mm.
wondered if maybe they got out. It's a sad thing to
No,
see happen. It's a sad thing to see happen all around, and it's a sad thing to see
is
allowed to happen. Also, that's I think the worst part, it being allowed to happen. Uh,
you know how you always say every trade is a buy and a sell, right?
Correct.
So I'm also thinking about the people who were buying those shares because it did look like a sale. You see that big drop there on the 14?
Hmm.
Like you would have felt lucky if you weren't really paying attention.
I guess if you don't know detail, I guess I'm just so biased when it comes to detail that I don't like I have no reason to ever buy it. Like I know better.
Same.
But you know that's not true. The Woodcats IPO, the Woodcats IPO,
Mm-hmm.
the way it's set up, because DTL reduces their stake from from 100 to below 50% on it, which technically in some from some perspectives can be looked at as moving down to associate. Granted, they might still have two people on the board, so they could still
Mm-hmm.
claim that they have a certain level of control, and so they still book it
Yes.
as a as a as a subsidiary, but they
Mm-hmm.
could also very well just have it as an associate, which means that also, and I think I'm definitely not an accountant, but I believe then one, they were selling shareholders details, so we know how much cash go to them. Two, they have two, they have one, they're selling shareholders. Two, since they've reduced their control down below 50%, I think they get to book the section that they don't have. You get to book it separately, right? So like you own 50, but no, it's an associate stake. So there's something in finance that in the finance rules that they're allowed to do with the difference. I don't want to say that you get to book it to profit, although you might be. I know it definitely makes its way to the retained earnings, but I don't know if it touches the P&L. But yeah, I'm looking at
Mm.
on the Woodcats listing as a windfall for them. How much 100 millions that they get
Yeah,
from the thing, and
true.
nothing, nothing. I mean, not nothing, nothing. We don't hear from it. I know you can't hear from it. No, you can't trade it, and
Yeah, everything is just on pause.
yeah, it, it's kind of sloppy. No two ways about it. It's kind of sloppy. A lot sloppy, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
actually, and it is even worse, I think, from starting to see. Like me personally, I would, if I was a shareholder, I would have an issue with how the I would have an issue with the choice that I would feel that management had made. Like it's not that you don't put the thing out and then you come with a story or whatever. You just you choose to make it get suspended, uh,
Yep.
which I'd have an issue with it because it removes my choice, right? But hey, maybe your mileage may vary. I don't know. Have you ever bought it, Shay?
Me? Not
Yeah.
from them time they with the APO. So, oh, them they call it a APR. Yeah, I think they did.
Yes, yes, they did do an
Yeah.
APO. They gave up their
Huh?
tax break some time back.
Yeah, man. I remember. Yeah, from them time they was like, oh, okay, cool, cool.
Not for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So it's not a company I pay a lot of attention to. Um, it was actually Striker that say, "Oh, Shay, I want to go and play big trader in a detail." And I
Mm,
started looking at it, and then I got up that morning, and as I do every morning, even if I'm not going to trade, I just do a run through. and I just see the big suspended. Me say what hold on, what go on? I was like, ew, I see. So no, not a stock trade, not a stock I regularly trade.
Yeah, it's funny, that May 14th notice. That May 14th trade 19 million units on May 14th, all in the space of 8 trades. That's
Mm-hmm.
also very, very. I don't know how, I don't know the right word to use there, but again, if you're looking on, you'd see
Interesting.
it. Yeah, interesting. Interesting is right. Interesting is right. And I get this came out in the newspaper April 22nd, and I believe it was also there was an initial article from March. So if you're paying attention to it, this is one of the things that MJ would help you to pay attention to, where you can stay on top of the things that you own if you care about it like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Oh
It's
yeah.
worrisome to me though. Very worrisome to me. As a detailed shareholder, I would feel very annoyed, very bothered. Worse, this is against the back of the whole sweat equity with woodcats. So I'm gonna get licked on
Yep.
woodcats and I'm gonna get licked here again and not no boss at all.
Yeah, look away.
Yeah, look bad. And as I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just sorry, it's not just them in terms of being it's not just them in terms of being in terms of being, how would I put it now? Well, suspended. Well, they're not the only ones that have been suspended. We've seen companies in the past suspended, and it's not just them that are now close. Well, they're over the line, but there are others close to the line. But that has happened in the past, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
standard really just has to be increased, I think, across the board as it is right now. Let me look and see how many are just plain overdue. I think as we speak right now,
Mm-hmm.
making sure I have my numbers correct. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, those are no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
That is terrible.
11, 12,
What?
13 companies that are overdue.
Wow, that's terrible.
And they're overdue by different
Mm-hmm.
varying amounts. So like five, the smallest is 5 days late.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Proven is 5 days late with their audited. RJR is
Yeah.
5 days late with their audited. 6 days late with their audited. Sorry. Um, yeah, both of those are 6 days late with their audited. MDS is also 6 days late with its audited. Last F also 6 days late with its audited. G West also 6 days late with its audited. And AFS, Access Financial, also 6 days late with its audited. And then after that, it gets a little higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
6 days is late, so late is
PJ,
late, but 6 days is not 3 months.
as terrible, exactly.
Yeah.
PJX is Portland JSX
Mm-hmm.
is 37 days late.
Trust.
So they're at risk of suspension with their with their also with their audited. Mailpack Group is 66 days late. Let me make sure this is
What?
correct because I feel like that can be correct. I feel like that can be right, you know?
Let's just check on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it sounds so bad that I can't even believe
Let's
it.
just double check.
Um so Mailpack is uh, 66 days late with their audited, yeah.
Wow. That's terrible.
But I thought that maybe they were delaying because they have the whole they integrated that new company that they bought. But again,
Yeah, bro.
it's not like they don't know.
No.
Yeah, and maybe they're waiting for timing because they maybe wanted a raise or something. I think they wanted an APO, maybe, I don't know. But
That's yeah. No,
yeah, so Mailpack is
cause
late with the audited and their Q1. Yeah,
that
but
thing that those that companies do.
like you make the full year stay late
Yeah, man.
until you have a good
Just say, you know
Q1 and you
what?
put them all together.
Let's just if we're
Yeah,
going to be late, let's just be late for real.
and then yeah, I don't know if they're actually doing that, but I
No,
wouldn't be
man.
surprised, right?
When they like that when they pair the audited and the first quarter.
Yeah,
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 I've seen
and
that a
it is a
lot.
it would appear, yeah, it would appear to be a strategy that some companies
Mm-hmm.
use or do when they have things late.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have Edifocal. Edifocal is 21 days late with their first quarter
Come on,
results.
guys, again.
Is that let's see, learn Edifocal 21 days late with their first quarter results. Yeah, so they're overdue by 3 weeks. It overdue by 3 weeks. At least they got their audited out for the
Mm-hmm.
2025, and they also published finally their 2024 annual report
Mm-hmm.
in 2026. LASEF is a 6 day overdue. It said that is 6 days, and then KLE is 21 days late,
Oh, look at you.
also with their full year audited. G West is 6 days late. Um, Epley is 21 days late
What you
with
saying to
its
me?
Q1 audited. Yeah, also
Why?
also crazy, right? And for Epley, I feel like it's something around the same. I feel like they've been doing something within the group, the
Mm-hmm.
same ERP. The impression I'm under is that that entire group runs off one ERP, one big system for all of the companies that want to, they
Yeah,
want
that
a
makes
whack
sense.
load of companies. Yeah, and so if there's anything happening there, they're doing anything big there, or intercompany,
Mm-hmm.
intergroup stuff, there might be delays on it. Again, as a retail shareholder, though, you can't afford to care because you give anybody an inch and they'll
Mm-hmm.
take a mile. So yeah, but yeah, 21 days later, and they did give a note. I think Epley said that they're oh, let me make sure I'm not getting this wrong. Epley, no, sorry, apologies. Epley is not 21 days late. That's on me. A good thing I checked. Oh, I think they're late with their Q1. That's what it is. They're 21 days late with their Q1. They put out their audited for the full year. Epley. It's the Q1 of this year, so the January to March period that they're late on. So apologies. Not that it's better. Well, it is better in my view than being late with your audited. So because the audit is the strongest report out there. But
Yes,
yeah, it's
definitely.
not audited that they're late on. DTL, as I spoke about, 96 days late, but they're actually suspended now. Um, and Dolphin Cove is 21 days late. So Dolphin Cove went very close to the line, extremely close to the line, with their full year. In fact, I think Dolphin Cove put out the full year notice. They put out the full year results, I believe, maybe the 30th or the 31st. No, the 4th. No, sorry, the 1st. So they put out the audited on the 1st, which is right up against the deadlines when they put out the audited on the 1st. And that audited was, I mean, rough, worst year ever. Negative 2.3 million US in losses. No surprise with the hurricane, and also with the internal hurricanes that the Cove has been having. A huge part of that, I think, is actually linked to the internal hurricanes, 100 odd million write off for intra-group stuff. And now they're late with their Q1 results, but they say that they will have that out, as much as you can believe it from any company. They said they'll have that out on or before June 16th, which maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if they do, though, since I also expect that they might have some more. They might have some more stuff to show us in a bit. Hold on 1 second. And last but not least, Access AFS. Access Financial is also overdue, and they're overdue by 6 days again. So I mean, it's just kind of, in my view at least, it's kind of terrible to just like that many companies being late is wild to me, right? That many companies being late is wild to me, and there might actually be more. I'm looking at this now. There might actually be more where,
with
the
so
usual.
many of them late, then I feel like it starts to look like something for the people in charge to kind of start. I don't know. They need to do something, like change something. I don't know. But at some point it can't be just business as usual. When it gets to be a bunch of companies, I feel like, I don't know, something.
That's true. Kintyre is also late. Of course.
Pretty on brand.
Yeah.
But
Kintyre is also late.
you said something
and they're late.
earlier, and honestly,
Heavily too.
it's so crazy that I never even thought of that. It's not the company, the people who are late they're not the ones suffering.
No, it's a shareholder. Yeah.
Shareholders.
Yeah. But it's because it's your company, it's our company. As shareholders, it's really our company. So that they are punishing the owners of the company.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's like you punish the owners of the company for them to, hope like we the owners of these companies should be putting then the pressure on the, you should be putting the pressure then on the operators of the company and on the board.
And the people who work for us.
Exactly that. It's crazy to me that is happening. Of course, Kintyre gave us the unaudited full year, and they also gave us, they're good with anything audited or anything unaudited, because it's all in-house. The audited, however, for the full year is missing. So they gave us unaudited, but they have not given the audited, and those audited were due.
Ew, hold on there. This looks like an island-wide blackout. Very interesting.
Wow.
Uh
Wow. Yeah, cause I realized then I offer him saying it, and you the other
you
side,
believe
and
me, I
wow.
went up to my other yard today and left my power bank up there. Well, one of them. I do have another one. But yeah, we move. We're good. We're all good. I'm all good over here for
All
now.
right.
Well, 3/4 I viewers them get top off. JP
That's
is a
what I'm
strike.
noticing, because that's why I went and looked, because I wasn't even looking around me until I looked around and said, wait, it's very dark. Yeah.
Wow.
So I think we lost a bunch
Wow.
of people.
Oh well.
But
We'll keep going until, well,
yeah,
not forever, but
it's
yeah, it's
just
there. It's there for people.
it's I don't like what it does to people who want to get involved, people who are young in it. I don't like what it does to retail. I don't like what it does to investors overall, because we own the companies, so we're the ones feeling it. And you
Yep.
see what happens
Yeah, so
when the
much.
companies get suspended and they finally start trading again.
Well, yeah, And I think it hits investor sentiment. You see it in the share price, and oftentimes it's the companies where, for them to get to this point, the sentiment wasn't that great to begin with, right? I might be biased, but I saw a silver lining with the Woodcats detail thing, how the detail side of the Woodcats detail thing handled that, the whole sweat equity. I didn't like that. I still don't like it. But I understand it, at least if you at least tell us about it. I don't like the idea of it's bad news. Let the shareholders suffer. Let the retail shareholders especially suffer. Because then they also create like a compressed situation where people almost bubbling to get out.
Yeah.
Like I'm under pressure. So when it come back, boom, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's
That's
coming
what I'm
back with
saying.
bad
When
news,
it
right?
finally starts trading again, everyone is like, "Yeah, I got to go. I need to go. I have to save whatever I can save, but I need to go."
Yeah. I hear the funny thing. It is restored by the submission of the needed reports. So when you put in your report, when you put in those reports, then your suspension gets lifted. But those reports are the reports that are going to have the bad stuff in there. And there's, I don't know how much PR you can do around it. Because I'm looking on this, and if the call is coming from inside the house, I mean, fraud is fraud. Again, you'll always have people who choose that route, or hanky panky, sticky fingers. But that's why you have processes in place to prevent it and catch it,
That's the
quickly when it
point
happens.
of all these checks
Yeah,
and balances, that like that's what you're supposed to be preventing.
yeah.
And even
And
if it
you can't
happens
prevent it,
once
but at
or
least you
twice, you're
catch it
supposed to
quickly.
catch it.
Quickly, yeah. When if the gleaner is telling me, again, he sprinkles salt every time you see a newspaper article. If the gleaner is saying that the fraud occurred between March 2024, detail did an audit up to December 2024. That means I can't trust the detail. Yo, you know something funny I saw in the detail thing? I never did say it, but I'll anybody who wants to ask questions, by the way, can send a speaker request, and I'll take on all the questions. Anybody who wants to talk about this or anything else after this, but I'll just go through this one thing. Shay, you can go through it with me and tell me if you see it also. We need three things. I'm going to use a detail full year, right? So the detail 2024 audited as at December 31st. And we're looking at the segment, how they are looking at how they report their segments, right? Segment financial information. And so if you know detail, like I know detail, if you know detail has a couple of things that they own. We know they own Woodcats, and they still own Woodcats. They own Woodcats, they own Arosa. If you know Arosa, Shay? Up by Draxal?
Oh, really? That's them?
Yeah.
All
They
right.
own Arosa. They own 100% of Arosa. They paid a lot of money for it too.
Big up them.
Yeah, and they bought it some time back. And they also own a good chunk of CFF, Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, right? 60 odd percent, right? So here we go. So I'll need CFF. I need details full year. I need CFF's 2024 audited also. And so details CFF 2024 audited, and Woodcats prospectus, because Woodcats also had their prospectus audited, right? So even though Woodcats IPO'd in 2026, they gave us in there, they gave us December, they gave us all of the 2024 numbers. Again, I'm not an accountant or anything, so you guys can take this out a grain of salt. You can look it up yourself, see if it makes sense. So I'm looking at here, those of you who are following along on video, you can see this. What I'm showing here is the detail, not the detail, the Woodcats audited for 2024, which is in the Woodcats prospectus, right? And so for 2024, Woodcats revenue was 1,081,377,542. We'll come back to that number. All right, we'll come back to that number. CFF 2024, their audited full year revenue was 88,681,000. And they don't give us the part below below that, but it's good enough. So 884 million was their revenue, right? And for Woodcats, revenue was 1,081,000,000. And so that's two of the three things that DTL reports under their other income, other operations. The third thing that they have under other operations is, so they the other operations, I'm reading from the DTL audited. Manufacturers of flavors and fragrances, so we know that's CFF. Processed meats, we know that's Arosa, but Arosa is not a listed company. And wooden pallets and byproducts of wood, we know that's Woodcats, right? So let me make this as simple as I can hopefully make it. 1 second. So what they have is, so what I'm doing here is simple, right? So that means that under other operations, revenue from external companies, revenue from external customers, sorry, for DTL for 2024, in the 2024 audited, is 1,966,000,000. 58,000, and then they don't tell us what's below that, right? So 1.96 billion pretty much is what they said that all three of those companies, Woodcats, Arosa, and CFF would have made all together. All right. So 1,966,000,000 is what they would have made. All three of them would have made together. So if you so Woodcats said that their revenue for that year was 1,081,377,542. So if you subtract that from the 1.9 billion for DTL, you get left with 844,680,000. CFF in 2024 tells us that their revenue for 2024 was 884,681,000.
Yes.
And again, they're rounded up. So if you round up, if you just round up the figures, in fact, I'll take out the 541, I'll just round it. You get 884,681. So Woodcats audited 2024 is 1,081,377,000. CFF 2024 revenue is 884,681,000. 884,681,000. So if you add the Woodcats and the CFF together,
Yes,
you get the same amount that DTL says that they reported under other revenue, under revenue from external companies, customers in their other operations for 2024.
yes.
You spot what issues?
The fact that that's it.
That's two companies, but DTL has three companies. Arosa. So does that mean that Arosa in 2024 made $0
$0
revenue?
like no money? I was
brought
wondering
no,
about.
not even made, not made, brought in.
Oh yeah, that doesn't
Does-
make sense.
I mean, I don't know,
But
but that's very
it was in existence, wasn't it?
y- yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That doesn't make sense.
They bought Arosa in 2022.
Yeah. So that means it was operational. I, I don't
No,
I don't understand.
what I don't understand either. There is a 44.8 million elimination, which if within the group that do companies do business with each other, you can't like you can't book that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So both of you in the group
Yes.
and CFF some pallets from Woodcats.
From woodcuts.
Yeah, you don't
Mm-hmm.
get to count that revenue. So you eliminate that. So there's 44.8 million
Okay.
worth of eliminations. Is that 44.8 million worth of eliminations? Is that all Arosa? So does Arosa only sell to DTL?
I guess so.
But you can go into Arosa and buy food from the front from the plate. Like,
Yeah. And I see it in like other supermarkets and stuff.
so maybe if it's in other supermarkets, is that DTL buys all of it? And
Okay.
this is me. No, hold on. This is me.
Okay.
This is me looking
Sorry,
for
sorry, sorry, sorry. All right.
a way
Mm-hmm.
for it to make sense, because I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but I don't know that I, it's very, and this is 2024. You notice what I use? It's just audited I use. So the
Mm-hmm.
audited Woodcats plus the audited
So
CFF.
hold on. Audited though. That never seems strange to them.
Maybe. So it could be that Derriman buys everything from Arosa. I don't know how that,
Okay.
but I
Maybe
don't know
they
how.
did ask about it and get a response and they were satisfied with the response. Okay.
But we have robbery happening according to the Gleaner, allegedly across one audited. So suddenly the audited become March 2024 is when they said this happened, and I'm quoting an audited from December 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it have me confused completely.
Yeah. I also don't like that. I don't like when things that are supposed to make sense because somebody was literally paid to check it don't make sense.
I don't like when those questions are raised,
I'm kind of
and
just left hanging.
which maybe that's why the company said them can't put out the audited without certain. Yeah, I don't know. But again, remember, like the little math I just showed you, it could be wrong. Maybe I have it wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but it's from 2024. I didn't use any unaudited numbers. That's two audited numbers that add up to something that I expect to have three audited numbers in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe they had questions and they got responses that satisfied them. I wish it was clearer in what we get, in the information we get. That would have been cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get
Because it's
again.
all we get, because it's supposed to tell us what's happening.
Yeah, I remember them have other things other than Arosa too, So them have they have a spice company, they have the US supermarket that them say them buy. So
I
maybe
remember
all
that.
of those are all selling
I
straight into
remember all that
detail.
excitement about that.
Yeah, so maybe all of those are selling all into detail, and they're all in that 48 million.
Perhaps. That's a weird way to do it, though.
Uh yeah, I can see. I know reasons why. I can see reasons why those things would be done, but then you'd also want to make it clear to anybody, because remember, it's not you're not doing this for the auditors. The auditors are doing it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to make it
We're
ultra clear
supposed
to
to be
us.
getting information that explains stuff to us, not information that gives us questions.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, and it's kind, honestly, it's kind of shameful, and I'm not just on detail. It's kind of shameful across the board. Think of how many companies you hear me talk about late a while ago, and I didn't name them all. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Atlantic is still all Atlantic Hardware is late, but I think a bunch of the
So
companies under
is it
Epley
that
are still late with their full
is
year
it
audited.
that in terms of standards of reporting, we need to look into that? Is or I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yo, I don't. I think
I just
yeah, I said
yeah, go ahead.
on earnings season a couple of years ago when it had just started. Not when earnings season just started. There was a point, I want to say maybe 2022, when there was a rise in the delay notices.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying on
The
here,
one with the COVID thing when they're like everything
yeah, when they're blaming COVID
COVID.
long after COVID, or what else are they
Yeah,
blaming?
and
They're
you were
blaming
like,
something
yo,
else.
COVID done long time.
And and also like if you start allowing it, it's going to get terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are in 2026.
Yeah, yeah, you did say that.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 companies late, if not more. Because it's just that back of the envelope list I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. And some of them late for audited. Yeah, it make it hard to
And
tell
it's
people
not
that,
even
yo,
like a little bit late. Yeah, that's the part. It's not even like there are some that are at 6 days, yes, but you have months there.
months.
Months.
Many of them months. Yeah,
Months.
if the audited due for some of these 90 days after, like the same way how detail get the same way how detail get suspended. Others can get suspended for the same thing because their audited aren't out. I don't matter if you put out the unaudited, the
Mm-hmm.
audited is what matters.
Yeah, that's what the rules say, right?
Yeah, 90 days after 45. 90 days after it's done, so in a March,
No,
and then
where I'm
another
going to have a problem is if
end
others
of
are not
June.
handled the same way.
So I think when I don't know again, nobody's ever said this to me. This is my words, but I think when PBS got suspended, it kind of sent a notice out to everybody that if we suspend PBS, we'll suspend anybody.
Mm.
And I'm hoping that that's what the message was that was sent. I think the next step now is on us as retail investors. Like this is the stuff that you should be asking the companies at their AGMs about. We should
Yep.
agitating from before AGMs. Like it shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
it shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
a nice thing. This is because this is a choice that the companies make also.
Mm-hmm.
And worse, I think there's levels to this thing. There's we don't tell you nothing at all. But you have management accounts. So you have times when you can put out your management accounts. Right? Put out the unaudited Q4.
Mm-hmm.
I can assure you, as I've said before, like there's nothing that like some companies. I don't want to put the spotlight on anybody just yet for this part, but there's nothing that a late report or a poor report, a low profit or a heavy loss report will do to change the view of some business people on the market and some companies on the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen that. We've seen companies on the market
And
report
also, if it's bad and you wait till next month or 2 months, 3 months down the line, like,
still bad.
come on, it's still gonna be bad.
Yeah, still terrible.
And people are already going to be agitated probably because you're late.
And it's not like I see the terrible loss and I go, oh my God. But then you show me also same time, hey, but the next quarter we have a good profit. I'm like, oh, well, it just Give me the loss when you be on time, and don't give me a delay to show me a loss, to show me a loss with a profit. I end up getting suspended. I'm not saying that's what Detail was doing at all, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It would appear to me that other companies have done that in the past. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
check the history on the JC, you have a couple of companies where
Yeah,
them,
that's what I was alluding to. That
yeah,
you know, I have no actual proof because I'm not in these meetings where these discussions are happening or whatever, but that's how it looks. S- Like Dana was saying something about optics, like it's how it looks to us. It's what it looks like based on the information that I have.
yeah, and it's hard to tell people, yo, trust the market. The JC is great. It's a great place to put them, which it is. But then when them go, yeah, so what about this? Like after going to the explanation
Yeah,
of,
and
yeah,
then
well,
what I say after that.
yeah, because nobody don't want to hear the long talking. Nobody want to hear the long talking if because a simple explanation for thief is thief, right? So you need a simple explanation for why it's not thief or alleged thief or whatever. And it's even worse when like, yeah, it might be alleged thief, but go on try thing. But then also the thing you try with get burned up. I can see somebody. I can see somebody doing the homework, looking into woodcats, seeing that
Mm-hmm.
there's a selling shareholder, checking the financial, checking the IFRS rules, seeing what it says about when you sell shares so that you've lost ultimate control and what the
Mm-hmm.
move is around that, seeing the selling shareholder and seeing that that's raw cash that went to the
Yep.
selling shareholder. And
Mm-hmm.
thinking, yo, what if them even pay out X% of that as a dividend, blah, blah, blah. And so you're making the
Mm-hmm.
decision on what you would hope would be sensible, um, well thought out, research
Mm-hmm.
reasons. And you do that this year and everything
Yep.
get burned up. Everything burned up because,
Burn up.
yeah,
Yeah.
it makes it hard because like that's what I tell people to do, right? Like, grow literally means grow rich with research. Go and do the research.
Mm-hmm.
So of course we have everybody who go and buy Trans Jamaica because everybody talking about it as a hot stock. Or I'm here something about Ray, and then we'll try it. But somebody could sit down and literally work out one, the amount of cash that went to the selling shareholder from Detail,
Mm-hmm.
who Detail, from Woodcats, and go,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that look good. And then also, if you go a little bit further with research and you check the finance rules and you see that, oh, on loss of control, you book X amount, you book the last section that you'd have had all of that to your retained earnings. That means even more possibility of dividend. The actual
Mm-hmm.
payout from the dividend is raw cash. So them cash flow supposed to look good to make the move before the results come out because I want to get maybe a little
Yep.
cap gains on it, but I also looking like I could get a dividend, and then you run up into this.
Mm-hmm.
It make it hard to tell somebody about it
Yep.
because you're not doing the cash spotting. You're not just locking your eyes and buying. You're actually making some,
No.
yeah. But the only thing I can tell is that if you're doing that level of research, you should probably, that's a good thing when my money J coming to, at least when you're doing research on it, you'd see report overdue, and maybe you look to report overdue, you say wait, at the point you'd see maybe what 1 month
Mm-hmm.
overdue, that's all iffy. 2 months overdue, that's on away. Two and a
What?
half,
Yeah.
yeah. 3 months, that's on iffy now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that makes it you start feeling questionable about it now. Because to me, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, yo, I mean, I don't even want to knock the auditors because I assume the auditors have done their job, but I have to know then, yo, how did last year slip through?
Mm-hmm.
It makes it rough, and I don't want to say
I
like it's
try to be understanding where the auditors are concerned, but brother, literally, I your job, brother. I your
yeah,
job.
and the auditors have a fiduciary responsibility to us as
Yeah.
shareholders, as does the board, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I said two people asked to join. I got both of them jump on since I like gone a while. She trying to hold the space for him. I'll hear from both of them. Let me go first with I said Andy B was one, but the other person was before you, Andy B. I don't want to lose him. Uh I well I not seen the name again, but I just approved it. So if you sent a speaking request just now, um you should be seeing it approved. Matthew, yeah, that's the guy's name, Matthew GM. So Matthew, I don't know if you hearing us. It's in connecting for Matthew. So Matthew, if your connection come back, you can just jump in and would love to hear from you. And in the meantime, and Sir Andy B, 3 weeks in a row, third time's the charm, and Andy B, what's up?
Hi, good night. How are you?
Night night.
At night, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, no, one of the things that I found quite interesting was generally, and I was just seeing, dropping it in the comments on YouTube, is that is this like a there seems to be a general governance issue, and particularly for smaller shareholders, you always get the bad end of the stick as it relates to gaps in reporting, because like everything you've said, this just sounds like poor governance. What's screaming out is poor governance, poor governance, poor governance, because the nature of an audited report is that this information is key for independent stakeholders. Why aren't they getting this crucial information? No, with the issue of what was happening with BT, I mean, in case of fraud, that is a bigger issue, but at the same time, it should be, this shouldn't be a last minute thing. It should have been something that has been picked up and we're not hearing it through the great. Almost, I said, we're not hearing it
From the company.
from the company or just at the point where their shares are about to be suspended.
Yeah.
And this goes back to a lot of a conversation we had a few weeks back, in that there are, when you enter business with somebody, when you're a shareholder, you're in business with the management to say you expect them to do certain things. And accountability, having a hard conversation is important because like if there are no checks and balances, right, what are you gonna do moving forward? Um, but it that was just really my thoughts really because accountability is key to any business.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other things that jumps out to me is, and you had mentioned it, when reports are late, but then another report comes after that is glossy, but it tries to defer attention from what happened in the past. And I think the willingness or the lack of willingness to have that hard conversation around why did that happen and what gaps were revealed with the delay in this report and how we're going to move forward about it. And these are questions, like you said, because I I was dropping the question in the comments in YouTube to say these are questions that they should be raising at the AGM. This is questions that need to be raising to JSE.
Well, I
And
don't know if you
even
should
the
raise at the
FSC.
JSC. Why do you want to raise that JSC?
Well,
Or what would you want to raise at JSC? At the JSC level?
well, probably not the JSE.
Yeah, I find that we tend to do that now. We conflate a lot of everything, and because something's happening on the
Yes.
JSC, we think JSC, but JSC does have a little bit of market. They do have some market oversight role, but they have been carrying it out. I mean, they suspended the guys. They suspended this company, and I have no doubt that if I think we have another 20 something days before, unless Kintyre puts forward their audited report in that time, they'll also be out. It's not just Kintyre. It's
Yeah, the
any
whole
company that
host
has
of
not put
yeah.
out their audited as of December 2025, the December 2025 audited, I believe that, but they have put out unaudited. I believe that they become due for due for it due for suspension at the end of June 30th, I believe. So you have a couple of we have a couple of weeks in which you'd hope that they do it. But think about what we're talking about. Like it's not that the due date is June 30th and then they have to get suspended. The due date was March
Yeah.
31st.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is a long time ago.
Yeah.
That is we're in a whole new quarter. You have a whole new set of reports to be doing. And remember, this is on top of the fact that this you're still doing day-to-day business. So
Yes.
it is it's like everything is being conflated into current, and it's like you're trying to deal with the past, trying to deal with the current, and then prepare for the future. And it sounds like general governance weakness, and hard questions need to be asked at AGMs. Shareholders send letters to the boards, to the corporate secretaries to say, why are these issues happening so frequently, and how are they going to position themselves to avoid it happening? Because in the board and the company have information asymmetry. They have more information than us, but we need information remitted to us in agreed upon times. Because why would you become listed if I know that you have all of this reporting and do not commit to it? So yeah, there are a lot of questions to be asked there, but it just shows governance weaknesses and a general fragility in their ability to handle stuff outside of regular business. Because I was also wondering if this is like a knock-on effect of Melissa. It's like one bad thing happened and it just knocks off into
Yeah, of
quarter after
course.
quarter after quarter.
In
Um,
2024, somebody dreamed said that Melissa was gonna happen in 2025. So them say, you know what, I'm gonna start snatch from now.
mhm,
Alleged. Yeah, so I
Allegedly.
mean, here's the thing. You're raising some good points, and I think for me, as heavily worded, I won't say well worded, as heavily worded as this nameless notice from detail was,
mhm.
maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but what it says to me is not that they don't have the audit ready, is that we have the audit ready, but we, the board, consider
They
that
don't feel
it's important
comfortable.
that it should only be put out after they have been yada yada yada. In other words, we can't give you this just now, right? And they point out that the additional time is intended to facilitate completion of the review process, so what's being reviewed, and ensure that stakeholders receive information that is complete, reliable, supported by appropriate understanding of the underlying issues. The audit is just an audit. The IFRS, the I in IFRS with international, there's
Hmm.
not that special about what we do here. It's yeah, you just the retail investors get the short end of the stick every time. And again, I could be wrong, but this just reads like the company saying, "Yo, I'm not tell you this just saying I saw it go,"
Yeah, yeah. There's
because they could. And
information that
we have a
is
kind of
good.
the big man worship in Jamaica thing that
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, where
Yeah.
it's boy, everybody kind of toes the line for the big man, and
Mhm.
in towing the line for the big man, you kind of end up burning yourself sometimes. And I'm not saying that
Often.
yeah, very often, because well, the big man did the same thing for you. It's just you can't. Like, I don't know, and you don't. Why I like this, how this suspension happening, is because we've seen Eddie Focal suspended, we've seen Kintyre suspended, I think twice, right, or one.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Kintyre suspended. Um, we've seen PBS suspended. Uh, I think there were
We've
special
seen we've seen enough companies that you should say, listen, get your act together. But it's like it seems like almost like a slap on the wrist. There needs to be, I don't even call it
But
more,
again, how do you make it not the people like the shareholders who suffer?
and that is it. And it is not the large shareholders that suffer. It is the small ones that suffer. So
Yes.
Well, all of them suffer. Um, but my point is,
Well, I don't know. I don't know if all them suffering. Because I feel like
I don't.
I, I think at certain levels it's considered at the owner operator level. I think it's considered. I mean, how does it hurt? That they weren't going to sell their shares. The top
yeah, they
shareholders
don't
weren't
care.
going to sell their shares. They don't care what the share
Probably
price
don't
is.
care about the share price.
They don't, exactly. They don't care about the share
Mhm.
price. I wonder if what I am hoping, because I think it fixes, is that if it has a knock on effect to like they are a Barita associate as far as I know. So it
Mm-hmm.
has a knock on effect because this is an associate of Barita that's
Mhm.
suspended because of questionable numbers. But Barita is, I'm not used to seeing that with Barita. Barita put the numbers
No.
out on time, and the numbers I've not
Mm-hmm.
had any reason to not trust Barita's numbers. So
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
especially now that they're regulated and transforming
exactly, right?
the business, a lot of things need to be lined up because it's like you're a bad representation of the overall group.
Yeah, man. Because it might drag on them in the same way. And then I wonder, I'm hoping, just because I'm hoping, because I think it might, like if they have debt or whatever, I don't know if some of the terms of the debt might be, around the share price or around being listed. And then, this might be constitute like a breach. But again, I don't know, because I've not gone to that side of it. I haven't gone that deep. I know they have some heavy debt. Detail has some heavy debt overall, which is part, in
Mm-hmm.
my view, is part of why they did the whole Woodcats thing. And I was hoping that maybe they'd also, maybe do a split and a spin off, or a split and a sale, off for sale, maybe for some CFF, um, or whatever, right? But it's to see this, and then to see this answer happen. And to be honest, this answer is just a longer worded version of the earlier answer that I think I had, which was kind of the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, like, yo, we still all going on, we're not, we're calling
Well, hold
this
on a
some
little
checks.
bit,
But yeah,
but
we're going to hold
just
on. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, when I put
But
out this, not right now.
yeah, yeah, well, you know what you said earlier, Randy, is that because at the owner operator level, the larger shareholders don't necessarily are not disadvantaged because one, what's most important is us getting that report information.
Hmm.
But who is in the boardroom? The
Exactly.
owner operator. They already have the information.
Yep.
They're already positioning themselves with that information.
Yep.
So who is disadvantaged? The smaller shareholder.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's why the 19 million the other day and the what was it, the 7 million, yeah, that bothered me.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, I hesitate to say anything terrible about that, because I would think that anyone looking on, if you have that level of shares, anyone looking on would be able to, you would be able to see that, hey, they're out. Like it's a clear risk. Like when those shares
Mm-hmm.
traded, like I saw, as Javon just put on YouTube, at the start of May, 21 companies had 21 companies had
Hmm.
late audited results. So if 14 days after that, 2 weeks after that, somebody say, yo, let me sell these shares. I can't necessarily knock them, right?
No, 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 no.
Yeah, I
Well, I
can't,
would never. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying it looks
unless it's
away.
insiders.
Hmm.
It
But
Unless
looks
it's
based,
away.
insiders. Yeah.
but based on the
It looks
numbers of
away, number
shares,
one, and this is Jamaica number two.
very
Yeah.
true.
So
But when you look at the numbers, that 19 million is still going to be somebody with either an entity or an individual with a very large exposure to it. So this is not a, I
not
don't view it as
necessarily.
necessarily a small person.
It can be a
Small
person. It
person.
can be a small person. I believe in you, Andy B. You
It
you could have
it can
19
be
million
it can
yesterday.
be a person.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, but it can be a person.
Yeah, but
The top 10 start at like what, maybe like
54,
50,
54.6 mil.
50 something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 50 something million.
Units.
No man,
So
this is one on one. You sure?
yeah, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
100% sure. Looking at my money J right now. So the 10th largest is the Heart Trust NTA pension. There's also little things like that. The Hartress NTA pension scheme.
People pension money.
Right? Things
Mm-hmm.
like this. And I tell you, say, yo, do you know how your pension is doing? The Hartress
Do
NTA
you know where
pension
your
scheme,
pension is?
right, is the
Mm-hmm.
10th largest owner. The ATL
Jano.
Group pension scheme is the 9th biggest owner.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god.
Yeah, if you jump, there's an estate there, and then if you jump to 7th, Barita's Unit Trust, the Capital Growth Fund is the 7th largest owner. Then you get to Ian Kelly, who
Jano.
is an insider, right? Then MJE,
Mm-hmm.
which is an active fund, and they
Jano.
sold 12
Miss
mil
Avery.
between July and September last year. And then the VM Pensions Management Limited. So that's actually VM. That's not VM's pensions. I think that's a management company for the pensions. So that's VM. I think that's VM itself. They're the 4th
No,
largest,
no,
right?
I think isn't that the pension? That's a the pension fund manager. So that is
Correct.
pensions again.
So how
So
the
that's a V. No,
pension
I
a
don't know
go
if
be
that's
so?
pensions again. I could be wrong, but I believe the Pension Management Limited is actually VM directly. So it's VM's subsidiary that handles pensions. So this would be VM itself. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But even if you exclude that one, Hartress NT, ATL, and that's just the top 10, right? We don't know how many pensions are
Mm-hmm.
below the top 10 level. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just one example. It's just, I think, I just feel like we don't, I think like it's too easy for these companies to do this. It's too easy for them to do this.
I
And
agree.
yeah, and the worst result also, them choosing to let it go to suspension, doesn't really hurt that much. Some companies do, some companies doesn't. But like the majority shareholder wasn't gonna sell the shares anyway. They don't care. And they do
Mm-hmm.
pay fees. There's some fees they have to pay. They also have to pay, I think, something for relisting. But I am under the impression that there have been times when, I'm not saying this was detailed, but I'm under the impression that there have been times where companies go, how many days late can we be, and what's the fee for being that late?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're okay with
Mm-hmm.
that number, they just go ahead and do it because the company going to pay it anyway. If they're cool with that number, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it, and we get hit the short change. So again, it comes right back down to us as retail investors that you have to hit these companies hard with these hard, realistic questions. You have to, like, it is your company. The reason why it's suspended is because it's your company being suspended. It's meant to hurt you. It's your company in the bad times. So it's your responsibility to question them. Their feet need to be to the fire here. You shouldn't, like, just because there's internal hanky panky doesn't mean that your company should be suspended and you choose not to put these things out, which is how I'm reading it. I mean, Dollar reported that they had internal fraud, or not internal fraud. That's not what Dollar reported. Dollar reported that they faced some amount of fraud from people using like collateral that didn't exist or stuff like that. But they still put the
Mm-hmm.
report out. They put the stuff out on time, and they took the hit, and they said they put to the hit, and they fix back, and they take the ECL hit, and then they get, like, just because the bad thing happened don't mean you don't tell people about it. Yeah,
Yes,
the choice to not tell
100%.
that they invest in public while you're public is a deliberate choice. I think that's made, and yeah,
But
it's a sad,
and that's a
sad.
key part. That's a key part of any business. If you're not willing to have a hard conversation about the risk, because that is a risk with the business, but upfront about the risk. Don't let it be, boy, you don't really want to say nothing still, because you're going to upset the waters, and then
I
nothing is
mean,
going to. It's like you're free to have a hard conversation in this business.
yeah, maybe it's a loss in prestige too. Because you notice nobody wants to say it, nobody wants to put their name to it. I mean, the notice have a signature because I think it has to be signed. Who signed it? Mr. Company Secretary. That's who signed it. In fact, I don't think Details Company Secretary is. But let's see. Who is the Company Secretary of DTL? So Details Company Secretary is. secretary also didn't have a name there, but we do have to know. Monique Cottrell. Monique Cottrell, the wife of the founder and chairman and CEO Derek Cottrell,
And the third largest shareholder.
and the third largest shareholder and third largest individual shareholder. And if you believe, like I'm sure many Jamaican women believe, what's hers is hers and what's his is ours, she might she's also the first largest shareholder. Yeah. So yeah. You can't. I don't think it should just be left that simply. And I know I can say that because I'm Monday morning quarterbacking or Friday evening quarterbacking. I can say anything I want, but the truth is, I can't say anything I want. And I think it should. I don't think it should just go that simply, right? I don't think it should go that
Nope.
simply. Yeah, I don't think it should go
I
that
don't think so
easily.
either.
And I think it's happening like this because it is a black mark against management. People will steal. It's not against management to stop people from stealing because you can't go in somebody's mind or heart and know what they'll do. But it is against management to have systems in place to catch it as quickly as it happened and ensure that it doesn't happen again. And theft that happens over, I'm not saying theft can happen. Lots of companies have theft, much more than we even hear most days.
Yep.
However,
It's how you
theft,
handle it.
exactly how you handle it. What are your systems in place to do it? What is the level of, like, you literally have to force a level of collusion where if people are gonna steal, they're gonna have to team up to steal, and then for you to
At
thief more
least
than,
make them have to put in some effort.
yeah man, if you have to thief
Like
more than 5
serious
million,
effort.
2.5 work together. If you have to thief more than 10 million, 3.5 work together, including the finance manager, the whatever. You get me? And even then, the audit's supposed to catch it. Again, if the cleaner is to be believed, and it's not like I'm sticking to my rules. You see a newspaper article, take it with a pinch of salt, right? But if the newspaper is to be believed, and the newspaper is reporting that the police are saying that the alleged fraud occurred between March 2024 and February 2026, there's there's 2 audits in that period. One of them just gets stopped. How did the first audit go through? Yeah, 17 checks valued at more than 18 million and led to losses totaling 29 million. So where's the other, where's the other 11? I'm assuming the other 11 is allegedly on the other party, but then that's all. It's rough for detailed shareholders. So what I'll say.
Yep.
Rough on detailed shareholders. But I wouldn't put it on JC. I think JC is doing what they're supposed to do, which is
They're doing what
I agree.
there are deeper
But like
rules
you
though.
said, a lot.
Hold on though. There are deeper rules. There's a requirement from there's a market rule that says that, like, the company has to respond to rumors or things that are out in the zeitgeist that are big enough to require a response. This article is dated April 22nd, 2026. There was no notice from detail on April 22nd or 23rd or 24th. There was no notice from them up until,
Yeah. That's interesting.
right?
They said nothing
And there
until
is
they
something,
had to.
and there's something in the rules that speaks specifically to having to address address large things. So even if just a rumor is
And I've
out
seen
there,
people do it. Like I've seen companies do it.
of course. I remember back when they used to beat me up for saying that Siboney is one of my long picks, and I said that I don't know if you can root it back to me, but I used to say that eventually somebody's gonna come along and they're gonna buy Siboney and they're gonna do
You
what's
used
in
to say that
effect.
all the time.
Yeah,
You used to
man.
say that
What's
all
gonna
the
be in effect a reverse takeover. All right, what's going to be in effect a reverse takeover, because somebody's going to buy it and they'll put something useful under the shell, and then the shell, you put something useful under the shell. There we go.
Man,
And
used to
if I
say that
remember
all the time.
correctly, Simone had to put out a notice, one or two notices about. They put out a very carefully worded notice to say that, like the whatever doesn't know that the whatever else is blah blah blah. And I like private talking. I'm like, yo, what do you mean by the shareholder? What this is from the larger shareholder is the person talking, and that's also the government. What do you mean? They're also the one paying the bill to keep them listed. Obviously, something is coming.
Yes.
Here we are in 2026. It turns out as right, but the important thing is that rule
They
was
said so.
followed. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
They're
Gleaner
like,
article.
guys, we're not in any discussions about that. I don't know what
Yeah,
this is about,
exactly.
but don't know what you heard, but currently.
Yeah, I think the person who responded as like they responded under one hat, like they responded under, let's say, the hat of the company person and not the government side. Same person,
Yes,
but
of course.
yeah, but you're for what? I respect that. I respect that sort of careful language, because a sharp investor looks at that
Yeah.
and you know how to work it out. But nothing, like I said, nothing. If nobody saw this article or nobody really read it, and it was April 22nd, detail between April 22nd, 2026, and today had they had let's see, they had, let me be fair to them. April 22nd, on April 30th, they put out a notice saying that the company wishes to provide an update further to the communication published February 27th, saying that the delay in the audited results, they expect to be published on or before May 31st, 2026. The additional time is necessary to, so they're not speaking to the article, right? Then they did, I think they did the same thing again, where they did 2 notices on it. So they just pretty much said that it's going to be delayed. That's all it is, all right? It's going to be delayed. May 15th.
Which is something separate.
Yes, May 15th, they said that due to the impending completion of the audited, the Q1 is also going to be delayed. And so they expect the Q1 to be published May 31st or later. Then June 1st, notice of independent review. And then June 2nd, they read it, the notice of independent review. And then June 3rd, suspension of detail. So they still haven't spoken directly to.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Which for something like that, I'd expect JC to. I'd expect JC to be. There are things they can do to be more on top of it, because if I can be on top of it, they can be on top of it. But
a quick question for you: what is the role of independent directors in this regard? Because I mean, I'd be thinking that independent directors should have some sort of role in navigating governance issues. Like,
what is the role in terms of what, like officially?
well, I guess in terms of navigating, ensuring that the audit committee has like the resources to handle rumors like this, so they're able to address it head on. I'm just wondering, what do the local rules and regulations speak about independent directors as it relates to guiding the management team and the board in
Going off memory, I'm actually going to check, see if I can find something, because the JC does, like, they follow, I think, a model code. I believe the model is from Jampro. I think it's from Jampro, as to the role of but also the companies themselves tell you. Let's say they do have certain independent director requirements, but your question is about how, like, what is the role in this? I'm guessing since they only have the company has two or is it 3?
because they have three. detail as to
Three not
executive director,
executive directors. So
executive
so
director.
so yeah. So something like this, I would assume that the director, if it involves somebody inside, I hesitate to say, but if it involves somebody
Well,
inside, and maybe they would speak to a breakdown in controls of the executive directorship, then you can have board level strong conversations around what needs happening, and they can be excluded from those conversations, or they can recuse themselves from it, and it can still be handled. And the JC does have an independent director requirement. I believe the FSC also pushes so on. So you'll notice that companies, whenever they're listing, they oftentimes they have
offer that,
to,
like for a
yeah, at
mentor or something
listed companies,
similar.
because it changed relatively recently. I think last year, the year before, they increased the requirement for independent directors, and you saw a couple of companies change their board makeup, also add people to the board. Uh, the funny thing about the director independence is that it is defined by you,
Yeah,
which is the
yeah,
dirty secret, right? You determine what independent is. Um,
yeah. I laugh at that a bit because I know like Panjam says that Philip Armstrong is going to be the lead independent director,
mhm.
but he is an executive officer, so he's going to be transitioning to a lead independent director role. And just from the outside looking in, I'm like, those are different things. Because somebody is independent shouldn't necessarily be somebody who's an executive, because there's a lot of overlap there. Um, but it goes back to how are they defining independent, and
And
I think
I
that's a bit.
believe it's determined by you. The company determines it themselves. So, and I mean, there are certain stand. I don't know if they're not rules, because I said it's for you to determine. And I'm not necessarily against it to a certain level. So, for example, I don't believe like owning shares in a company stops you from being an independent director. In fact, you probably should own shares in a company and be as an
Hmm.
independent director, right? Um, but yeah, as you give me good homework, because I can't pull it off the top of my head. I can't just put it off the top of my head as to what the independence is. But also, I personally don't really care. But I know that's not true. I do care to some level, because I know there must be some effect to it. But I would want everybody on the board to have a stake in the company. So I want them to have shares. I do want some amount of independence, just because you want to have that pull where I can look at it with eyes that aren't necessarily colored the same way your exec eyes are colored, right? You as the
Yeah,
executive director might, I'm not saying this is what happened in detail, but I could see an executive board member going, yeah, sure. Just make the shares get suspended, because I get paid anyway, right?
yeah,
Yep.
I get paid anyways. I don't really care. While an independent director who does have shares might say, no, I don't want my shareholding to be locked up in a suspension, and you shouldn't either, and you might get paid, but I don't. And so
right,
you'd want that. But um, as I said, the core of it, the dirty secret is that you determine independence. Each company determines independence for themselves. Um, and it is what it is. I don't know. I don't know that there's. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And then the audit committee themselves. That's another question, but I might be out of my depth there, or being more honest.
but I guess that one of the things that is
I
why
don't want to be
I'm
within my
enjoying
depth.
this chat is that, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. We're hearing you clearly.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I was just saying, no, that's one of the things, just having this chat is just being aware of what I don't know, because then I can now do my research to say, okay, do I understand now what the role of directors is here, or governance is, because there's an ultimate breakdown in reporting of information,
Hmm.
and with that breakdown, who is responsible? the shareholders are we're directed towards the board. What is the board doing about it? Is there an individual who the board can speak to? Not necessarily the chairman, not necessarily an executive director, but an independent director who can understand the perspective of a shareholder and say, hey, I understand where you're coming from. This is what has happened. These are the gaps. This is the process. This is the procedure to resolving it. And I guess that is just a journey that I am on, walking through not just this, but other issues that will inevitably come up because that's just the nature of business. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just really asking the hard questions because and being open about it because
But you know what I
you know,
tell you? There's no shortage of best practices and a proper structure. And like I said, the requirements, they're clear. I don't believe that it's not for lack of resources why this happened. There is very clear there's very clear guidelines that can be followed. There's best practices, as I said. I mentioned the Jampro thing a little earlier. Um, yeah, I don't think there's no lack of it. It's not like, oh, but we don't know how to do it. These are seasoned business people across the board. Let's be serious.
no, they are.
Yeah, the loudest one is probably Tyrone with Kintyre, and Tyrone. I don't. If I could get half of the people on the boards on the JSC to know the rules the way Tyrone knows the rules, I would do it in an instant. So it's not for lack of knowledge. There's knowledge is out there if you want it. It's available to them. The best practices are out there, and like if you read some of this stuff in the boring part of the annual reports that nobody pays attention to, it's all there. The 2024 detail is telling us how the audit committee met 5 times. They reviewed the budgets. They reviewed the integrity of the monthly, quarterly, unaudited financial statement. It sounds so funny now.
Hilarious.
Right? Review the effectiveness of internal controls and risk management system and other matters that fall within its mandate, as well as inventory cycle counts, receivables aging management, and their findings. Remember, the year that they're reporting on is the year in which, according to the Gleaner, the fraud would have started.
And I guess this is why it goes back to there's one thing when you just putting a statement in a report. It is like how is it practiced? So yes, you make 5 times. Is 5 times sufficient? Is there like a subcommittee that needs to meet more regularly or something else? Because I'm very conscious of words being put in a report versus a reality on the ground.
Well, that's gonna be on us, the investors, the shareholders in these
But yeah,
companies to press them on at an AGM. Actually, press them on. So, like, if I'm a detailed shareholder, next AGM, even before the AGM, but certainly by the next AGM, like, you have to tell me how it happened and how it slipped
Yeah.
you for this long.
How?
Yeah, how you're saying this in 2024 in the annual report. So how
You
were
met
you
5
not?
times.
Yeah, how did the internal controls obviously weren't effective?
that's it.
What actually happened?
What will be different?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How did the auditors also not catch it? The auditors have fiduciary responsibility to us. How did they not catch it the first time?
As
Yeah,
of, as if somebody wanna hide something, they know how to do,
that's
especially
not
if
how it
you're on the
works.
inside.
That's not how it works.
Nope.
Auditors are literally there
You had one job.
to catch that.
I
So no.
always remember, the nature of the audit is not necessarily to find the people stealing, it's to show that the results don't misrepresent themselves. This sounds more like a process issue because what's this now, 29 million
Yeah,
in
but
about
no,
three
no, no. It's
years.
no, man. The audit is meant to catch this stuff. It's not to catch. It's to catch the slip. in controls. And I'm not saying that you can't beat an audit. You can. The audit, as I saw again, I think it was Javon who said it on YouTube, that the audit is yeah, it's a sample thing. Obviously, they can't go through everything, but the controls are there. You catch it. I would, if the auditors say, "Hey, we missed it the first year because of how the fraud was done, and we caught it the second year," cool. I'm cool with that. But, and maybe maybe it's
They
that
caught
in
it
the
the
first
second
year,
year.
maybe in the first year it was too small, and in the second year
Yeah.
it was so large that our audit caught it. I could get that, but you still have that question to answer because you have a fiduciary responsibility to us, the shareholders. The internal team, though, meaning the board, no, the operational board, no, you have to tell where you're like what is happening, how is this happening?
Yeah.
How are you sending out checks through your system to suppliers that haven't, like, how did the supplier get in?
Yeah.
What were you paying for? We laugh when we see, oh, people use Google and they send, there's this big case that happened. If you happen to a couple of tech companies, people sending invoices to the tech companies and their ERP system ingest it and pay it out because you want to be paying on time. You don't want your receivables to pass a certain thing, blah, blah, blah. And it lasts a while and it gets caught. And we find that so funny. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Here it is the same thing. How are you paying out money to a supplier that nobody knows? Or is it that one person knows them? Okay, but one person can
That
sign off on
still
that
doesn't
much?
make any sense. Like, what person? Which person?
Yeah.
Who is the one person, Randy, who could come to you and say, "Oh, we paid out such and such million, yeah, to this random person." Like, that- like, who would be
How did
able
they
to
do it?
say that?
Yeah, that's not even, like, the processes are set up so that after a certain level, one person can't do it. So I might be able to sign for 200 grand. If you're over 250 grand, then my manager has to sign. If it's over 500 million, then my manager has to sign. If it's over 5 million, then it has to be signed by the managing director. The managing director then has is director. They have the fiduciary responsibility. So they also have a level that they can't sign to. And they have to know everything they sign. I remember I used to have a finance director who used to say, "Yo, I don't know, I make them fire me,
Correct.
If he's a rare, say, "You know, I make them fire me." So he has to know every single thing. And it's Friday evening, you want to give him just sign it out quick and send it out, taking him time, and that's the job. And again, it's not that these things can't slip through, but when it slipped through, it's a big deal, and how it happened, and then how you communicate it matters. But if the thing is, yo, let them go on with, and a month to put it out, and then them can list back. That doesn't, to me, just sound like you don't really care about you really don't care about your shareholders. And while I
Don't
feel
care about
that
the small shareholder.
exactly, which I know that is rampant across the board, but it's another thing sometimes just to see the decisions made that show it.
Yep.
Yeah. So act accordingly.
Brawling.
Although granted, nobody should be surprised by seeing this now. I mean, sweat equity, right? Sweat equity. Anyway,
Oh man, that was crazy.
right? And it's the same people, it's the same company, it's the same. Yeah. So I know that these guys don't care about the small shareholders because I saw what they did a couple months ago. They showed that they didn't care about it. So this is just along the same lines. Yeah. Issues related to Arosa operations and plant upgrade.
I don't know.
2024.
I guess I'm just at what can be done. What can be done?
Don't make it go gently into the good night. Just press them when stuff like this come up. Press them. Ask the hard questions, and don't take the pretty answer. Ask the hard questions. Don't make nobody rush you off. Don't let them tell you, say, AGM, and you have 30 seconds for question. Yeah, we have 30
Or
seconds.
you
I'll
can
buy the
only
share.
ask one question.
You can only ask one question. Don't make David take up all of the questions either. Ask your question to David take up all of the, well, David can't take up all of the questions, but ask him if you see him at the AGM, ask him what I'm going to ask, and maybe you make sure say you cover a good spectrum with it. Ask the questions that you care about also.
I
And
think
then
it's important to ask your questions yourself, by the way,
yes,
because
very, very
people tend to
important.
reword the questions and then you
Yes,
get a completely different meaning.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
So ask your
follow up the
questions.
answer
Ask
and
the
follow up the
questions
answer.
that you want to ask. Don't
Yes.
let anyone reword it for you.
And follow up the answer. Follow up on the answer. That's a big deal also.
Clarify.
Follow up on the answer. Yeah, man. Don't just take, oh, we'll get back
Yeah.
to you. Don't take the
Because you're probably going to get, yes, you're probably going to get that, or you're going to get a lot of words saying nothing.
yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So press for the actual answer.
Yeah, man. And this will become more and more important as we go. Yo, the JC judges all of they do like a corporate governance report every single year, you know. They do an index every single year and they grade the companies A, B, BB, CC, yada, 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 you know. So
This is
yeah,
public?
yeah, man, it's public, but nobody
And
reads that
what does
crap.
that affect?
But I probably want to know who's at the bottom of that list, or who's in the bottom quartile
No,
of that
I
list.
want to know what it affects.
I think the last one I saw was in 2024, was for 2023. I mean, I can show you guys at JC have the list of it's just a list. The C's. Well, here's a
That's like
grade.
the ATM reporting when the ATMs are down. The banks reporting when the ATMs are down.
Yeah,
Then what?
exactly. So corporate governance index report for this is maybe they have a new one. This is one I found for period 2022-23. The corporate governance index provides a numerical basis for measuring the strength of a company's adherence to corporate governance standards and best practices. By the way, the JC gives all of their companies these at the point of those companies being listed, and after. These standards and best practices are based on governance codes developed by the PSOJ, Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. Right? What did I say? Panjam? Was I saying PSOJ, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, PSOJ. No, I was saying JAMPRO. That's what I was saying wrong. The PSOJ is what I meant. Yeah. I get my acronyms mixed up. And they cover the legal and regulatory requirements as well as the rules, blah, blah, blah. CGI is maintained by the JC. I'm going to jump ahead to the table, the ratings. So AA, company's performance was excellent in terms of the various principles of the corporate governance as documented in the JC's Corporate Governance Index. A, the company's performance was good. So not excellent, but good in terms of adherence to the principles. B, the company's performance was good in terms of the various principles of corporate governance as documented in the JCs. So A and BB have the same
I
description.
don't understand that.
B,
But essentially, all the wording just moves from excellent, very good, fair, weak, very
fair,
weak.
exactly. C is weak, and CC is weak, and C is very weak. And then NR is no rating was applied. Yeah, and so in 2020, in the 2022-23 financial year, 4 companies got an AA, and that's GK, Massey, NCB, Financial Group, and Sagicor. 23 companies got an A, and Access, Barita, Carreras, yada, yada, yada. And I believe there's another document where you can go and see what the JC actually has as the different criteria. And I want to say that you can call them and ask. I want to say that, but I want you to remember that I don't work for JC. So don't call them and say Randy said that you can call. I've heard varying experiences around doing that. So your mileage may vary.
Yeah, don't do that, guys.
But it is their thing, right? And then BB, 18 companies were in the BB level. 25 companies were in the B level, and the B level, by the way, is the one that was fair. So not good, but fair in terms of following the principles. And then CC, 12 companies were in CC, and that's weak, right? So let's see who was the weak companies then. We have Blue Power, Darwin Cove, Elite, Express, First Rock, GNAC, JFP, KLE, MTL,
You know.
PBS, Spurtree. I think this was the year also that PBS got suspended.
Suspended.
Spurtree and Stanley Motor. And then when you go to the C's now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 companies in C's: Palace, Pulse, Equity Line, Epley, Purity, and Cargo Handlers. There's a funny thing. Equity Line Mortgage Investment was eventually delisted. I believe the general who started Equity Line is facing charges in Canada for
Yeah.
for fraud related directly to Equity Line. I believe make it hard for me to defend the market, boy. Make it hard. I don't. I think the
does.
preference shares were never paid, or if they're paid like once many years ago, and then it
Oh my
tumbled
god.
down. Yeah, yeah. And in NR we have Edifocal, CPFV, I Create now Kintyre, Innovative Energy, which should have been Siboney. I think that's the year when I switched over. ISP, which should burn up. Jetcon, who was risen from the doldrums, and Seprod, which is NR. And again, NR means that they didn't have. NR means no rating was applied due to insufficient information, or they were listed for less than the stipulated time. Actually, I think for 2022-23, someone was like, I think Eddie Focal would have been listed during that time, so they'd have had less time. Dollar, I think, would have also been listed during that time. So they would have, I remember seeing Dollar though. Dollar is not it
I
at
guess
all.
all of this really shows the importance of corporate governance because it picks up certain things.
Correct.
It picks up key things.
But here's the truth. Corporate governance is just governance. And it works the same way, meaning it's good to have it, but the people are the who have to press the governance point. They work the same way in real governance, they work the same way in corporate governance. If the shareholders, if the citizens allow the government to do whatever they want and you don't keep them foot to the fire, governance will slip. Governments will slip. We've seen it over the years, not just in Jamaica, but all over the world. Same thing for corporate governance. If you don't keep the governance of a company's feet to the fire, you're gonna see it slip. A company should be ashamed to put their financials out late, right? It shouldn't be an easy decision to make to put it out late. It certainly shouldn't be an easy decision to say, yo, make it deal, make not even delist, make it get suspended, right? It should be a big deal. This means things like, yo, company gets suspended and the board gets a lawsuit same time because it's my money I've locked up. So my loss of funds. Yeah, you remember this, like you might have debt externally and your ownership in this company is backing your debt. The company get delisted or suspended and you're facing a heavier situation because of the decision of a board. So we should get more litigious. We should get more litigious. Keep the feet to the fire. That's all I say. I'm not saying that people should do this overnight. I'm not saying anybody should rush and go sue detail, but if you don't do something about it, it's going to continue.
Yeah, just have the conversation and have a difficult conversation. Don't get swayed by the nice talk. I think is really answering key questions.
The words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot of words.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I've asked very direct questions at AJ, and the response was very fanciful. And then, when I asked a follow-up question, he said, "But what was the rationale behind that?" And then we started to go down a particular path, realize people start to get defensive. And so, let's talk about that after.
Off air. We love, boy. For a
Yeah,
homophobic
man.
country, we love whispering at each other ears, man. Boy, me could talk off it, boy. You want to say,
But I
no.
won't even limit it to the country because that wasn't an AJ in Jamaica. It's a regional thing.
Is a Jamaican company that's operating regionally?
It's an international listing.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, as much as I joke about it with Jamaica and the whisper and off, it is a thing that's done across the market. And it's a Caribbean thing too. We love
Mm-hmm.
everybody you want nice stuff, but when you paper it over, it lead to the worst situation. But if you're a detailed shareholder, you can't sell your shares, and you're also now facing a pressure cooker situation.
Yep.
Because when
When it free up, man.
oh my God, man,
Mm-hmm.
if them put out those results June 30th, July 1,
Mm.
everybody and them cousin looking to get out.
Yep.
Right? And June 30th is a Tuesday. So July 1 is a Wednesday, it's a trading day. Everybody and them cousin looking
Mm-hmm.
to get out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What was the share price before it got hit?
147 or something. 146. Something like that.
146. Yeah. 140. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of space between that and sub one. And
Of course
and
not.
bear in mind that what was the APO price in 2020?
Oh, that's right. That happened.
Yeah, they did the APO. I see
Wasn't that
Javon
like
said
two? Some
shows them never care from the APO days.
in
$2,
APO and it was like 235 or something like that. So or two something like that. So
240,
240.
240 to the general public, 220 if you're an existing shareholder or a DTL team member.
Mm. And what was the unofficial APO price?
Guaranteed fills. Guaranteed fills was a little lower than that. I think 235 or whatever. Whatever it was just below that. Yeah, well, that if they didn't have a warning before, that should have been enough of a warning. But damn.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, enough doom and gloom. Anybody, we'll be talking for a while. I thank you very much, Andy B, for this. Anybody
No
want to ask
problem.
any
No problem.
questions? I'll wrap up the next few
Wait,
minutes
what
with
that
it.
Randy, I just remembered the IPO closed. Was that this week?
Yeah,
I think it
Qantas
closed
closed
last
this
week,
week.
Qantas, and the allotment came out this week. It closed last week. The
Yeah, it
allotment came
Oh,
out
released
this
this
week.
week.
that's
Yeah,
what that's what I
Yeah,
thought it was this week.
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
The allotment for anybody who hasn't seen it, the basis of allotment is pretty much 100. Not pretty much. It is 100%. So you get whatever you applied for.
I'm
They
so
were
I'm so
$100
happy for all
million
the people
short
who got all
of
they wanted.
shares.
Say that again, Shay. So I couldn't hear you over Andy
Happy
B.
for all the people who got all they wanted.
You know, I don't know, but I like a feeling deep down inside that these people might be people might end up very happy. It's not a
That's
lot of
good.
shares. I've said it before. I'll say it again on here. As I feel, as long as they don't do an APO, this thing is gonna be a great thing to hold. As long as they don't do an APO,
Mm.
as long as they don't do an APO. But if they do an APO, beta. But I suspect that what's going to happen is it's going to list where we maybe list maybe over the next few weeks, maybe even next week. Who knows? Or
Yeah,
maybe
they seem to be moving,
well,
moving
these
quickly
things
with
gonna
the listings these days.
maybe them
There's not
choose
really a long delay.
strategy. So maybe they choose to list. We'll look at it, but I'll tell you some of the strategy I think might happen. Maybe they choose to list July 1 or within the first week or two of July because they
When they're getting
don't.
liquidity from DT.
No liquidity from DTL. But then they don't have to report. They don't have to. They can report if they choose to, but then they're not covered under the reporting rules, so they wouldn't. Let's say they list the first week of July. They do not have to put out a financial report then until November, middle of November, before they have to put out a financial report. All they have to do is tell you how the Q3 went. That's all. And we have seen companies choose to do that in the past.
Yep.
So they were very strategic with what they told us about when they were listing. So we don't actually know how 2025 kind of really went. and they might be able to keep some of that wool over our eyes for a little bit longer, or till November, like I said, if they choose to go till July. If they list in June, then they do have to report on that quarter, and then we'd hear how the reporting go. Then thank you. So as Javon said on YouTube that their reporting year end is June. So that might be even more wow. So if they if they report in July, if they wait until the first week of July to report to list, then they may not have to report until November, middle of November again, right?
That being okay and
and they don't have to tell
totally
you.
legal and not against the rules is crazy.
It is crazy to me. I think that's a gap. And they don't have to tell you how the financial year ended. I don't know if anybody would do it. I think I've only seen it happen once in the last few years, but they could stretch it out. They could not tell you how the year ended until 2020, until maybe September 2027 or August 2027. They could, under the reporting rules, there's a gap. So who knows? So if they list before the end of June, then we're good with Hero the full year go, and we'd also Hero last year go. Although they might choose to still hide like some of the quarterly info because they just give it a full audited. But if they list after June 30th, then all bets are off. It's up to them, in my view. I could be wrong unless I'm misinterpreting the rules. But as I said, we check the history. There are companies listed now that have done that they have. Just let it go. So, yeah, but again, even that wouldn't bother me as much. I think that the biggest threat to the share price of Qantas is them doing an APO. If they don't do an APO, I would not be. If they don't do an APO for the first year, I would be extremely surprised if they ended 2027 below $40. So I put that easy 100% on top of them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if not more. And I could see them hitting the 50% mark. I mean, I say stuff in the girl group. I've said enough here, but I've said what I've said. Yeah, I've said what I've said here. But I could see things happening before then, as long as they don't do the APO. But if they do the APO, then all bets are off.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't apply, but
You pick up in the market.
No, I don't know if but maybe I'm almost certainly going to own some Qantas at some point. How long I own it for is another matter, but I almost certainly will own it, and I actually have a little bit of regret for not buying it. A little bit of regret for not buying it. I feel more regret for not buying this than I do for not buying Woodcats at IPO.
Okay.
Yeah. So biggest threat to their share price, I think, is the APO, and I think that they're on the flip side. I think that they're primed to do the APO. I think I don't think they care either. I think they have in
Wait, is
themselves.
that electricity?
I hope so. I hope you can get the rest of the night.
I think so. I see lights.
All right. I hope so. I hope so. Well, yeah. Anybody have any last questions you guys want to ask? Is a chance I take some Q&A if you guys want now. So send a speaking request, and I'll be more than willing to answer them. And you guys haven't heard from Shay in a while. Shay, I think last week somebody had some questions that they wanted to ask you. But those of them on no.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody was saying that they wish that you were here, and somebody else was saying that there was something that you had asked that made them think about something. Well, he's asking like why them hugging up a loss and they make some money off it. So if somebody, who was it? Somebody link you to the road and say, yo, them owe you some drinks, or them give you some drinks money. So. just know, say you earned it by getting them to think the right way. I like, yeah.
That's why we're here.
I hope so. Yeah. So anybody have any questions? Send a speaker request. I will answer your questions now. We'll hear from Shay. I don't know if Danai coming back on, or if Danai get back like yet. I don't have done him phone, but yeah, this is your chance to send a speaker request. And
that
while
might
we
have
wait on
been
that,
just a flash because I don't see it anymore. that might have been, I don't know, JPS trying a thing, because I did hear the cameras
Transformers.
come,
Oh,
no, the property has cameras everywhere and it makes a sound. So
mhm.
I heard that come on and I saw lights outside, but they're gone again.
They sound like them working. All right.
Yeah.
Well, since you haven't been here, you get first dibs on a question. And if nobody else send a speaking request, you get all of the questions. So, any questions you have, Shay? Anything you want to ask about the
Oh
market, any
no.
stock, anything?
No, I just want people to start behaving like owners. Basically, it's my company. What are you doing with my company? Really?
Yes. Yeah. If you have even
Yeah,
one share.
so I've always been pushing for that. I believe in it. It's your company. It's my company. Ask the questions. These are your employees.
Yep. If you have even one share, is your company.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I see Yannick Harvey. Big up Yannick.
Hey,
How you
what I
doing
do?
evening?
Doing good, doing good. Enjoying the conversation, and yeah, I'm very curious about the I want to say failed IPO of
Failed
JPS,
IPO.
but it seems
JPS.
that
JPS didn't have an IPO.
I mean, well, the plans
I don't think that you
or
think.
the
Well, let's
intentions
hear. Let
of
me hear what you mean. I don't think JPS plans have failed, but I could be wrong. Let's hear what you say.
I mean, there have been countless claims in the media since 2019, you know,
Mm-hmm.
about bringing it to the public, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
think the government I don't think they're being as transparent with the plans. Well, I kind of have an idea of what they're trying to do as far as um you know acquiring or finding a buyer to buy those shares.
Well,
But I'd like to hear some theories though.
well, I don't. I think maybe we have a different view of it. We spoke about it. I don't know how
Yeah.
long ago now.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but
We
suffice
had
to
a
say
good
that.
little chat about JPS.
Yeah, man. How I'd look at it is this, right? Consider what it is that you actually are thinking is going to happen, and also in this case, especially because we're dealing with another government, the bigger government, you have to look at what exactly them say and what they've been doing. Bear in mind, at least the current government has been very clear that they've said that they want to list it, but they've also, they've said clearly that they're not renewing the current license, which
Yeah.
I think is a
Mm-hmm.
big deal, and I think that is part of the process around. Is if you serious about this, you do the research behind it, you'll see how the JPS. First of all, part of JPS is listed, right? Their preference shares are listed, and it's one of the oldest parts of the market, by the way. Um, yeah, it's one of the oldest parts of the market that's listed in terms of their preference shares. And
Mhm.
if you read some of the documentation, they also have great corporate governance. I'll give them that. To my mind, I cannot remember ever seeing a late notice from JPS. They're on time with it, which I have to give them credit for, because them stay the same with the damn bill. So they they are on time with it, right?
Consistency is key.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
consistency is very, very key. So you can see their numbers, you checked out on my money JA, but if you look at what it takes to actually list JPS, it's not like, I tell you this, Trans Jamaica wasn't necessarily simple either. Wigton wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily simple either. I think both of those cases had geniuses working in the background quietly. And I
Yeah.
think JPS is more complicated than both of those combined. It also has a different and more complex ownership structure. Those preference shares
Mhm.
have been listed. Those preference shares are older than the JSC. And some of them carry certain rights. Some of them are, believe it or not, there are people who own some of those preference shares. I mean, regular people. Like this, the
Mhm.
JPS 9 point, which one are we looking at here? These are JPS 7 preference shares. it's owned by Urain Ferro, the top 10 owners anyway. The estate of George Scott, so people have owned it and died. Kim Burrows, the National Utility Fund. You've never heard about that, right? But I suspect it's a Jamaican government-owned company. You can see the other names on it, right? Crown Life Insurance, which I think is something that died under FinSAP. Could be wrong. Yeah, but yeah, it has a complex ownership structure, and these things, like, you and I can break the law, right? You can speed up if you want, you can break the speed limit. The companies aren't supposed to break the law, and the government, above all else, can't break the law, which means there are laws that you and I might not even know about, not even think about, but they are on the books, and they say that you have to do X, Y, and Z in a certain way, and certain people have to be compensated, and blah, blah, blah. And all of those laws have to be followed. Moreover, JPS itself is a massive national infrastructural asset. So you also don't want to have a situation where you necessarily do something. Like, I don't think the two companies that are also owners of JPS with the government, they don't love Jamaica. They're not Jamaican companies. They don't love Jamaica. They don't care. If you slip, they will take as much as they can take. Trust me. If people work for a company, they'll thief from it. There's no telling what they'll do for a country that they don't even know about. So I'm not saying that Morabeni or East West Power has any evil intentions, but it's the government of Jamaica's job to ensure that they don't slip the line, because they will slip the line if they can. And so you're in a situation where you tell them that, hey, we're not renewing the license. Which is not to say that we're kicking you out, but we're going to change the license, and your entire revenue model is dependent on that license. That license prevents anybody else from selling electricity to anybody else. That's what that license is. It enshrines that in law. That license prevents you from selling your neighbor electricity. If you run an electric card from your house over your fence line to your neighbor house, that's literally against the law. So you also don't want to be in a situation where, like, you get laid off from the job, but you still have 2 weeks to work. I don't think you're doing the best work in that 2 weeks, right? No. In the same way, if you have you have these two companies that have made millions of US dollars off this thing, and you tell them that you're not renewing the contract in the same way, maybe they start going, okay, well, why are we going to spend XYZ money to it? Let's just wind down our maintenance and wind up our corporate greed, right? Because that's what corporations do. And so the government is in the position where they have to be managing all of those pieces and the laws, and some things they maybe they don't know to say. Government is not one person. Government is a massive thing. And other things maybe they just don't want to say. They haven't said what the new plan is yet. And I think all of those things have to line up, fall in place before you get to the point of, oh, and we will list this. So I take a lot of comfort in the fact that the government has said upfront that we want to list the asset. And the government does own 19.99% of the asset.
But it's been 6 years.
It might take longer, my brother. This stuff don't easy. Bear in mind also that about a year after them said them doing it and them serious about it, Melissa came. If I was East West Power, I'm like, yo, man, I really kill off myself for run back the line, go Westmoreland, you know. Westmoreland people, well, let me not say that. Let me not say that. But let me concentrate on my more profitable aspects of the business, right? Like distribution is not necessarily the most profitable part of JPS, the business. I'm under the impression that generation is where the massive money is to be made. So maybe I just concentrate on that. And the government has a tightrope to walk. So it's been 6 years, and it might take another 6 before them get it right. But eventually it will happen, I think. And until then, we have pieces of JPS that you can touch. So you have the debt. Some may say you have the debt. There's lots of JPS preference shares listed. You look at the preference shares. They're there. You can buy them. They're listed on the market every day. Some of them you can buy. Some of them are not offered, but some of them are. This one, JPS 7, has 7 orders in the queue right now. You know, they are what they are. and they do pay out the dividend that they pay. And it's an early way to own a piece of JPS. Also, like I said, the business, if you think of JPS in two pieces, there's distribution, light wires, the stuff that we see, and then there's generation, which is the power that goes into it. You can get a piece of generation already. Wigton is a huge part of the generation. Who
Paradise.
Paradise, yes, but no, because Paradise would be under MPC CEL, right? But they
Okay.
sold it.
Yeah.
They sold it, so it's not really them. I wonder about what MPC is going into now. If you like the long shot, NCB, nuclear, Leachin, I said nuclear is his thing. I'll tell you this, Leachin said to me himself, it's not like I hear it from Leachin himself, about the care about nuclear energy in 2020, that's 6 years ago, 2020. And that nobody was talking about it then, well, he was. And now here we are in 2026, and I hear the government, I think there's government saying up to this week that, nuclear is part of what they're looking at going forward, and that might take another 10 years. That's not a tomorrow thing. But in the meantime, like I said, you can only look at pieces of JPS. You can own pieces of JPS's value flow, even if it's not directly JPS. Wigton provides a lot of power to JPS. If MPCCEL goes back into that side of things, which I think they might, but can get pieces of that. Maybe Energy themselves might go back into that side of things. And I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Sunterra, no man. I'm talking about listed companies. So stuff that you can touch, that most of us can touch. Wigton, I think, is maybe the most direct, and there's no going around that. Wigton is the most direct, and Wigton is right there. And Wigton also won that contract, a piece of the contract to get the increase in generation power that we have coming for the next few years. I take a deep look at Wigton. Think about this. Everybody knows that electric cars are the future, right? But where are you going to charge your electric car? Because everybody say, oh, well, I don't have to buy gas anymore. But I don't hear anybody who love them light bill. So you also need to be able to charge that car. Same way you have gas stations, you'll need charging stations, and the gas stations will go into that business when they can. Remember what I said earlier? It is illegal for anybody other than JPS to sell electricity. So that means right now, as it stands, only JPS, as far as I understand it, can sell electricity to charge your electric car. Not saying that there may not be little things around it, but that's, I think, part of the whole thing. And JPS does have an arm to that, but Wigton is owned strongly by a company that also is in that space heavily, that also I think is maybe 40 odd, if not more percent of JPS's power generation. And I suspect anything that will happen in the future, it's going to spill over heavily to Wigton before it spills anywhere else. So maybe Wigton is a great opportunity along those lines. Yeah, maybe. Okay. But that's my thoughts on JPS's IPO. I could be wrong, but that's my thoughts on JPS's IPO. Yeah, just wait, and until then, you don't have to wait too long. You have lots of other options. Yeah, man, lots of other options, and don't expect them to just come out tomorrow and say, because it's not that simple. But I don't think they're also interested in laying out the various things. But if you do some digging, you can see it. If you're serious about it, read the Electricity Generation Act and read the financials of JPS. But read those acts. Read the Power Act that Jamaica has. If you want to know where to find it, it's on My Money JA. Go to any of the JPS's, any of the JPS securities that's on My Money JA, and in the other section, so like the one I was looking at a while ago, JPS 7. In the section, we have all the documents here. We have the quarterly results, the annual results, and we also have the others. And under here, you have lots of little things. You have the National Energy Policy. You also have the Electricity Act of 2015. And you want to read that. That might give you a bit of a better understanding around this and many other companies on the market. and what they can do and what they can't do. So you might want to check that
I've
out.
heard so many different issues surrounding like getting it listed. Having to go to the parent company to negotiate, I guess, buyout agreement. I think the government floated the idea of a SPAC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what happened. You don't hear anything about it.
Well,
And then, the 19.9% stake not being 20 for, a public float of the shares.
mm-hmm.
There's so many layers to it.
Yeah, but
But
remember, the thing it wasn't initially done with the listing of it in mind, So now that you're at this
right.
point, you have to rewind, but you can't just say, "Yo, we're done with you." Well, the government also can't just say we're done with you. They can, but that's not the kind of power you want to use. Like you don't want to just nationalize back JPS. You weren't very good at doing it to begin with, so you don't want to take it back, and you don't want to piss off the companies that they paid you money. They paid for that license, They paid you money and you have an agreement with them, and it's like tripartite agreement. You have two other powers, and it's not as simple as just list it.
Right.
I've wondered why they don't. At first, one of the things I thought of was like, the 19.99. Why not put that into a vehicle and then just list that vehicle? List
They did.
100% of that vehicle.
I think that was the idea was to put it into a SPAC with other government assets.
So there was that consideration also, but I on an impression that maybe a lot of those assets weren't that attractive. But anything you put with JPS is going to be attractive, going to become attractive by virtue of that. But some of those shots are dangerous. You can only fire it one time, so you better you take your time and you fire it one time and you fire it the right way versus you do it wrong, because doing it wrong can have a long tail. A long tail. And also some of the things that we just don't know. Like we don't really know what the wording of some of the, like we don't know what the real wording maybe of the full agreement with JPS is. How many people know that? How many people look that up? I don't even know if that's public. It might be, it might not be. It might be public, but it might not be easy to get.
Yeah, it's there.
I know it's around. I know it is public by its very nature, but I don't know. Maybe one of those things where it's public, but them just not going to allow you to see it. Like, no, the boss say you can't part this. So.
Yeah. Because even though the media reports like the conditions.
Yeah, but the media don't know. The media don't know.
No, it's crazy because there's so many layers of inconsistency.
Yeah, because the media is just told. They get told what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mean it bad. I have such low expectations of the media. Yeah. Think about what I'm telling you about how complex this thing is. You know, the people that read the news also have the time to go through this, and them have 40 stories to go through this day. No. Leave it and then leave it for Dean Jackson to go through, and Dean can go through it either all time or Cliff Hughes or Hamley. But it's not. Yeah, the media is gonna hear it. By the time when the media find out, you can find out too. And in this world, I'd encourage us all. No, we can go and find out for ourselves, especially if you can get that actual agreement. So what I was mentioning in the agreement is that at the top of my mind, I don't know what is in there like promise, right? I always draw reference to the Trans-Jamaica Agreement from 2001 or 2002, which contains like terms that say, you can't expand Mandela Highway. You can't have any trains that run across any parish lines anywhere in the entire country that also carries commercial freight or anything like that, or you can't have any passenger rail that runs across any parish lines anywhere in the country. And that was a rider, or still is a rider, on the Highway 2000 agreement, right? That wasn't known very much for a long time. So I don't know if them have something like, we will not list any piece of this company outside of the already existing listed piece. I don't know. So I think the first step was saying that, when the current agreement expires, we will not be renewing it. There's
Yeah, and
still
then
that
that
JPS.
had some effects on it because the government had to give them a loan.
Yeah, but it is what it is. At the size of that thing is, but would you want them to go and get the loan otherwise?
I mean, if
Like,
it distresses them to the point where
of course, it's going to
it's
distress me.
cheaper to purchase them, then yeah.
It's going to distress me. Best believe it's gonna distress me, and I'm gonna have to put it on everybody's bill.
Yeah,
Of
I
course
don't
it's
think
gonna
that
distress
was
me.
for JPS. That loan wasn't about
That was so
JPS or
That was so
for.
you don't come tell me no foolishness. Because best believe, put yourself in JPS shoes. These guys tell you that you're going to lose a contract, and before I lose a contract, you want me to take on this massive amount of money to fix back up the hurricane destroyed thing that I know I'm gonna lose. Well, under these terms, I'm gonna lose in a year or two. Of course, the loan, no matter what the loan is, the terms are so onerous. We're gonna have to put something on the bill. So how do you stop that from happening? You lend them the money. But I can tell you this. I can tell you that because I don't have nobody to vote for me. A politician, they can't. The second a politician is saying it becomes a political football, and then it doesn't matter if it's true. Is it simple enough for everybody to understand it? And if everybody can't understand it, who are the people who don't understand it? And if you're a politician, there's always another politician on the other side who is ready and waiting to twist the words. It don't matter if it's true or worse if it's true. No, it's him friend. Him friend. Him want lend the money to him friend, right? And you get into that world of mix up there. So politicians can't say what I can say. I have the freedom of being sensible and looking at it, but I know that they have a hell of a job to do. Even if it goes smoothly, they have a hell of a job to try and sell it to the people.
Framing.
Yeah. So I looked on it to get my timing. I look on it around elections. I like that they were saying it before election, which means that they had to stick to it going into election. And I like that they followed up after election and said they're still on it. And then what I took as a really good sign was that after Melissa, they didn't back down.
No.
Because it was you could have said after Melissa, hey, I know we said that, but in light of everything,
But we have to.
Yeah, we have to rethink it. Yeah, man, them say, yeah, you hear what I'm saying? I say, well, now I renew it. You need money? We will lend you the money. And that happened when it happened, and it will take a couple of years, but we have elections coming up in 4 or 5 years. So it's on them to either figure it out before the 4 or 5 year mark, or it's gonna become another part of the next election cycle, which I like, because you have to figure it out. But even before then, the license itself is going to expire before the next election. So they're gonna have to do a really good job around that. And if they screw it up, next election is in 4 or 5 years. Yeah, so you hold out hope, my brother. That's what I'll say. And until then, look on Wigton and read this document. It's a boring document. It might be a boring document, but if you read it one time, you'll never have to read it again. You're gonna understand so much about it. So much. I like that question though. You had any other questions, or I'll jump to the next person?
I don't have any skin in fast search, but sometimes I like to read reports on companies who are, I guess you said, beaten down, as in the stock price is at 52-week lows. So I was reading the report and comparing it to past reports. I usually go back like 3 years, 5 years. And it was just that they took some loans.
Fast Rich. We're talking about Fast Rich or detail?
Fast Rich.
Okay, which in my mind
is some
detail
loans,
too. But
yeah. At the height of interest rates climbing, 2022, for expansion.
And
racked up massive inventory, which they had to write off. But I noticed that they lent some of the money that they borrowed at basically market rates at that time. I think between probably 9 to 12%, and lent it to some
related
related
parties.
connected. Yeah.
Correct.
And I discovered that one of those related parties is actually in at the head of uh in charge of the development of a real estate project.
Which is the massive Fosterich building that people were excited about 2 years ago.
So it's the development in Trelawney.
Oh, Trelawney,
Yeah.
or is it
Hano?
Draxhall?
I think it's Trelawney.
Trelawney, okay.
I have to check. Well, yeah, even with the warehouse, like they're paying, they have lease liabilities on it, and it's not fully operational. I think they're just using it to store inventory at this point. But the crazy thing is the loan that they lent, the loans that they lent to the related parties, they're not paying any interest. I guess it's like a arm's length kind of agreement.
Is it? It can't be arm's length if well continue. Continue.
Well, it's way below what they borrowed from the banks, and the spread between that. I mean, they're the main operating business is getting destroyed at the expense of shareholders, and shareholders only have a 20% stake in the real estate project. So I'm thinking that their bet is on the real estate project to work out. But
work out. Here's what I'll ask you. You say you look at some companies. Name one, not 10, not 50, not 3. One real estate project on the market. I said 2. Because there is one. Name 2 real estate projects on the market that work out. Meaning, name 2 real estate projects on the market that on the start, meaning that this thing is launched, we cut the ribbon, we're now making revenue from this real estate. And then a year later, there's a massive amount of income revenue coming from that real estate. Name 2. Really, you can't even name 1. Even but I don't want you to name 2, but name even 1.
I mean, I can only think of CPFE.
Literally, and CPFE is why I said to name 2, because CPFE is the only one I can think of. Name another one.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Right? Also, bear this in mind, the $2 billion, I believe, is roughly $2 billion that went into development of the Fosterich Center or something like that. I think it's called the Fosterich Center, whatever the thing is, the big thing on Malines Road.
Oh no, that was GK.
Yes, GK, but GK has to get their money back, right?
Yeah.
So is GK that did what? Is GK owns it, or GK provided?
Yeah, GK owns it, and Fosterich, they're just paying rent.
Lease.
Lease. And it's not operational. But the real estate project is.
What do you mean? It was meant to be launched December 2024.
Yeah. I think they hit some delays with that project.
Well, they must. We're in June 2026 and it don't open yet. Yeah, man. So one of my rule of thumbs, that's why when I say this, people think I don't like real estate. I am not against real estate. I actually like real estate as an asset class and also as an investment But you have to know when you're going into real estate, you have to know what you're going into and how you're going into it and what your expectations are. And when a company is going into real estate, when a listed company is going into real estate, you need to know. For me, I look to see clear lines of, how are you going to earn from this piece of real estate? What is that going to help the company with? Because it's not location. Foster is across the road from the thing. So it's like if anybody who had to drive there, you're still driving it. Maybe storage, cool, but that's a very expensive warehouse if that's what you put in there. I remember they're saying, oh, they're gonna have stuff over there. It's gonna be like a plaza.
Yeah.
There's gonna be, but as you
Yep.
say, who owns it? It ain't them.
GK.
It's an expense for the listed company. So I'm going back to hope. In my view, they wanted us to be excited about it 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Yep,
why would I be
remember that.
excited about a bill?
Exactly.
Remember how they were talking about how many parking spaces?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And tenants.
And tenants for something that you're not getting any money from. Right? They also mentioned the US. Yo, I have certain little things I look for from companies that under JSC that make me wary. When they mention real estate, like first we say light. Tell me about real estate. When they mention real estate, when they mention Guyana, when they mention US expansion, I look for those three things. Those are the three horsemen of death for me.
It has so far not worked out.
My brother, like Guyana have less than 2 million people, less than 1 million. Like, you're going to Guyana to do what? Oh, we're going to Guyana for what? They have oil. You can sell the things to the oil. What I mean, they have oil. I'm not saying you shouldn't expand. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to Guyana. I'm saying be realistic about what that means.
How much are you going to make?
Exactly. Like, what are you?
How much can you make given the population?
They say U.S. expansion. Do you think that the U.S. is just this green field waiting for people to come in and it's so easy? One of the biggest U.S. expansions that we have seen from any local company is JBG.
Yeah, definitely.
They cornered. They cornered the market across the entire continental US on broiler eggs. They became the single largest owner. Well, it would appear a few years ago, as it was said by them, it would have appeared that they became the single largest owner by virtue of their acquisitions of companies across the continental US that allow them to the eggs that actually grow up to become chickens. So broiler eggs. How has that worked out for them? And that's one of the best we've ever seen. Right?
Yep.
What does US expansion mean? Like the US, every country in the world is looking to have their companies expand to the US. So you're going into a dog-eat-dog market. Also, the US have 350 million people that are also trying to eat your food. It's a completely different sort of market. I'm talking consumer market. Let's be serious. We know we're weird. If I walk into the cook shop and the lady's nice and say, "Hey, good morning, welcome," I'm walking back out. The food cannot be good. You have to be vexed. You have to look angry. That works in Jamaica, and it works in Jamaican food stores in England and America, but it don't work anywhere else. So our crappy customer service don't work. You think Amazon wants to refund you the stuff that you bought 2 weeks ago and try on and put back? No, but that's how they have to. If they don't do it, Temu is gonna do it. You think Fostrich can afford to do that? Oh yeah, no, you didn't like how the light look? Oh no, we'll refund it and pay those bank charges. Yes, so they tell me them expanding to the US, I start get wary. When they say them expanding to Guyana, I start getting wary. And when them say them going into real estate, I start getting very, very wary. Yeah. So far, I've only seen one company do the real estate thing properly. A good half, I say 1.5. I liked how Jamty tried it, and it burned them up wicked. The man couldn't sell a scheme in St. Thomas. They literally burn him, right? I like how Separate has quietly expanded across the region, and they don't. I mean, I don't know if they don't make a big deal about it, but they do it, right? I like how you notice SVL never said them expanding to America, even though the man them look like they're this close to having a US listed company, and they currently technically have a technically they have a Swedish listed company, but where them expand to? Africa, Ghana, and then they're trying to go there. I know we know that market. We understand it. We understand some of it in some ways because it's also a different market. It's not Jamaica, but I believe more in that sort of expansion, right? That you might find something in Ghana, you might find something on that side of the world that you can get your wedge in and then expand more than, oh, we're going to go to the US. You hear where detail it expand to? New York.
Yep.
Them buy a supermarket in New York.
So much noise was made about that.
It booked them about a couple of billion in losses and then them have to lock it down.
You mean the roof?
Right? It's when companies say these things, it sounds good on TV. You just have to step back and just pretend your brethren come to you and say, yo, you know, I'm expanding my business to Guyana. Say, bro, no bag juice yourself. Yeah. If it sounds crazy to you there, the guy that sell light bulbs, it should sound crazy to you also. Right? Yeah, but it makes a great headline though. Yeah, and by the way,
yeah, I noticed the pattern with the CEO specifically because I had to go back and watch that interview he did with Kalila, and you know, it made me uncomfortable, and I'm not a shareholder.
in Fosterage.
Yeah, and it seemed very performative.
A lot of it is.
Yeah,
Because
and I guess people buy into that.
maybe. Fosterage CEO have one of my favorite videos ever. A couple of years ago when he was doing when they're trying to do their APO and they're asking for whatever, and they're talking at the AGM and then them step back and call the lawyer forward to talk. So they didn't read this resolution. They made the lawyer read the resolution, and of course a couple of people started asking him questions. Shout out to Shaq was asking a couple of hard questions, and he responded with something that to this day I still joke around and say, he said when they're asking about, you know, why are you doing an APO instead of like why not do a rights issue? And I'm paraphrasing his answer. His answer was and again I'm paraphrasing. He said something like, you know, maybe we have some outside shareholders that want to, and I go, what the hell is an outside shareholder? What's an outside shareholder? So my joke was, I wasn't married when I made this joke. My joke was, try and tell your wife that you have some outside woman that need some of your paycheck at the end of the month and see how it go. What else? Is either you're a shareholder or you're not a shareholder. But why I liked it is that sometimes when the CEOs, when they're not active on the market and when they're truly not thinking about the market or us retail investors, they don't know what it is that they're not supposed to say. So them say anything. Or them say what I'm really thinking. So you get something like outside shareholders, which sound like, yo, I don't agree, say XYZ, I'll give you this money, but we have to give them X amount of shares. So just sign off the liquor rights and make water you down. Because we're not business about your shares. We're done with it. And that's not what they said. That was my interpretation. But you see where the share price is a few years later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I can't see anything that would make the share price rise. 460. You're not seeing that again. 2022 was at 460. Now we're at 176. Who knows? But hey, they might have an IPO coming. They might do a spin-off.
Oh, the solar company.
I hope so. I hope so.
But are they
I
profitable?
remember them saying that.
Are they profitable? Profit is an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, even by profit is an opinion.
Don't be negative, bro. Don't be so negative. In the words of one of my favorite CEOs, don't be negative, bro.
Unrealized gains on investment properties.
Profit is an opinion. I never. I mean, they made me
Yeah.
have to learn that, boy. They made me have to believe it, cause say, oh gee, don't
Yeah.
say learn. Anyway, 2 cent. Or 2 cents star. What's up? You've been waiting patiently. Sorry, by the way, were you actually done just now, Yannick?
Oh well, I just wanted to clarify. So the project they have a Fast has a real estate project that they have 20% equity in, along with
Mhm.
the related parties and
Is that
the
Blue Emerald?
loans. No,
No, cause
it's
Blue Emerald was a different headache too.
yeah, it's BC Dundee Enterprise.
Actually, yes. Actually,
So
remember
the
it. Yes,
project is Hamptons of Saltmarsh.
yes. For which they have
So
in the audited from last year, they have pointed out that they lent them the money. Did they lend them it at nothing? I don't think there are any terms. Are there any terms?
5%, and I think
No. Fostrich
based
borrowed
on
it
the
at
last
12 point
audit,
something percent. But what did they lend
yeah,
it to BC Dundee at?
5%.
Oh,
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
have another related party that they lent as well. I think at
LCCM
around 5%.
Ventures,
Uh, it's
related by common directors and shareholders, 8% loan.
yeah,
It was 5% in 2024. They had a bullet
yeah,
date maturity in 2030. And
yep,
that is minimum 874 million.
yeah. Well, if you combine the loans, it's like close to 2 billion.
And
And then
how much
Maastricht
was
is not
the
paying interest.
the superstore? About 2 billion, right?
No, this real estate project is the 2 billion.
Yeah,
The
but how much was the
superstore
superstore?
is just lease. So they
Yeah,
have
but how
lease
much did the
liabilities.
superstore cost to do? But one of the
Oh,
most powerful things I learned was that money is fungible. And I know that the finance types know the meaning of fungible. I'm not saying that the
okay.
real estate, the Fosrich whatever center has anything to do with the other. I'm just the 2 billion number just remained in my mind. I just remembered it. So you add
Oh,
these two things together, they both individually come to about 2 billion,
yeah,
roughly.
yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own any Fosrich shares either. That's it. I don't
I
own any
mean,
Fosrich
what
shares either.
maybe one day they might look good again. Pre-COVID,
Hey, listen,
But
if like how long it take to drive to Trelawney now with the highway, you can be there in an hour.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, outside of Kingston. I lived in Spain for years. It used to take me an hour and a half to get into Kingston on a traffic filled day. So people could move Trelawney. Yeah, people could do it. I love Trelawney. Trelawney is a great parish, the forgotten parish.
my thing
So
is that I don't think they have a actual plan on how they want to use it, because at first it was residential and then your mixed use. I mean, I don't know. I think the closest thing to it would be that one in Portmore. I think they have a pharmacy and a supermarket on the compound.
in Portmore,
Yeah, I forgot the name of the development.
ONS Mini Mart and Electrical Supplies Limited.
No, I'm saying the example of,
Uh-huh.
I guess, the idea of what they would want for
Mm-hmm.
that piece of real estate. I'd compare it to the one that's in Portmore that has a supermarket and a pharmacy on the compound. I don't think it's gonna be just residential units. I think
True
what
mixed.
Mr. CEO said is mixed
Mhm.
use.
Well, you know what? You can say anything you want. That's the truth. You can say anything you want. You're anything. You can say anything you want.
I agree.
You can say anything you want. Yeah, I think the secret is to get the land. I think a lot. I'm not speaking for the CEO. What I think a lot of people at that level do is they say, "Yo, let me just get the land, and then we can figure out what happens later on." Because it's not like they're making more land. It's land. It's a good investment.
Vibes.
Yeah. I am not even necessarily against that. You know why? Track some of those other countries and those other markets. A lot of those great bits of real estate get owned because you're not the first owner. The first guy have to have the dream and overextend themselves. And the second guy gets it for cheap. Yeah. So
and there's a lesson in business cycles here as well. They took those loans during a period where money was getting expensive. So I think they're going to have to learn a painful lesson from it.
Or maybe not. Pressure bust pipe or make diamonds doing us. So maybe they spin off the Bayside hardware business. Maybe they spin off some of these other things. Maybe they do a listing. Maybe they do the same half and half. Maybe they do selling shareholder. You get some of that cash. Like it can make you do some interesting things. Like that's the beauty of that's the beauty of business. That's the beauty of the pressure. Yeah, what pressure really make diamonds. So maybe they do something great.
I hope.
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for the shareholders because they're not paying any interest on those loans. I mean, the share price is dropping.
Share price not going anywhere again. That dead. I can tell you that. And if them come with the APO, that dead even more. Although I don't know why they come with the APO now. I don't know if people still buying into that. But yeah, I think nowadays to try and sell the APO, you have to be like a well cemented, well-oiled name and some massive trust. And even then, you're not going to think about the little shareholders. Man, I don't want like you and me. You're thinking about your pensions, and you can leave a little sprinkling for the what left for the what left. So like you'll see Sagicor doing it. You might see Barita doing it, but Barita is like reworking the whole group, bringing in all the other entities, putting them on take the off balance sheet and bring it onto the balance sheet, have a brand new entity. And then in the middle of that, we might also, if they come to like 10 billion, they will ask for 12. So we get an extra 2 in there or whatever, Sagicor, we're doing a merger, but you have to pay for it. So you give the money to Sagicor for it to be paid out to the owners of Sagicor Caribbean, who are also the owners of Sagicor Jamaica. But so they get that cash, but then Sagicor becomes Sagicor Caribbean, and stuff like that. So I think, and again, you're not looking for me and you to give them the money. You wheel the pensions into that, right? Fosrich, I don't know. But
one to watch.
This is a one to watch, exactly. But this is opportunity to don't not that. You need some. I'm not saying that Fosrich is doing terrible. You can look at the numbers for yourself, everybody. But that's the opportunity oftentimes comes from. Somebody screw it up so somebody else can do better with it.
I agree.
Yeah. Who knows? Those related party stuff, though, you might be stepping on toes with that one. I like that you're looking for it.
I mean, it just looked like them transferring wealth, and the 20% is like, oh, okay, we'll just give them 20%. Let them know. Say nothing about.
I think maybe you give them 20% because then it's a joint thing, right? It's a joint thing versus if you had none of it, then you might have a harder question to answer as to why your money is going into this. But true. if you own a small piece, then it's an investment on both our parties. But these are the questions that should be asked. So ask it at the next AGM for the shareholders.
Yeah, I'd buy a share just to ask
just to ask it.
But but I think I've never heard him answer a question directly, and I think he would just use word salad and distraction.
Yeah, but you know what?
just to not
So,
answer it.
sometimes the word salad, sometimes it's good to at least force them to give it a word salad because that's on record. I still have
Mm.
the recording of that
I think so
outside
too.
shareholders video. Every now and then I watch that, I still laugh. Yeah, so it's good. It's good to know.
I mean, at least him not pulling up purity and saying that the press can't go to the AGM.
That's a new thing also, right? The AGM will not be streamed online. Yeah, in person
Yeah.
only. Ah, boy. Well, we are the people who have to change that. So even if it's not stream, you got to ask your hard questions anyway, and
Yeah.
buy a reporter, share or two. Let them in. Anyway, thank you for the question,
Yeah,
and I will jump to
I'll give
Yannick.
somebody else a chance.
Yeah, but big up. To say it has been
Yeah.
waiting for a while, so I'll have to say it and to say it. We call it a night after that.
All right, blessings, one and all.
Night,
Randy,
night.
so really, what I want to discuss is not even a discussion, it's really a recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of my money, JA, earlier you were speaking about the whole suspension of that stock and
Mm-hmm.
other stocks that have gone through that suspension, and the fact that it's based on them not adhering to JC's rules. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You also brought up the ratings that JC has that they
Mm-hmm.
attribute to these companies. I'm wondering if you have thought about enhancing my money, JA, to allow for your subscribers to be able to, when they click up a stock, they can see, all right. And I know you have to be careful with this, because you have to make sure that the data that you're getting or the information that you have is accurate or up to date, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but let's work with the suspension part first.
Mm-hmm.
Could you have it where I click up a stock and I can see that this particular stock, they are 15 days late, right? And as it gets closer to 30, then you can say at risk of being suspended. So
Mm-hmm.
it gives your subscribers the power now to make some informed decisions. Do I want to stay in this stock or do I want to come out? Because she also spoke about it, the fact that we as the owners need to hold them accountable. And I think when your platform giving us that power, it
Mm-hmm.
allows us to decide that here, I'm not gonna stay in this stock any further, or I'm not gonna go into this stock. And then that may help to put certain pressure. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking. But having the information, and if your platform can give us that, I think that is a good step in the right direction. Now, one could say that JC should be doing this. But if JC is not doing it and you have done so much with your platform, right? I'm thinking adding this could be of some value. Then you can increase your subscription costs and all those things because it's really power you're putting into our hands. And that's value to us, which I'm thinking that we'd be interested to pay for. And you could
Uh,
also add the rating to it too. So we could see the rating
mm-hmm.
that JC has ascribed to the company as well as if they're at risk at being suspended. What's
uh,
your thought?
yes. I love the suggestion. Yes. I have all the pieces of it already. In fact, we actually show. I mean, if you're following along when I was like showing it, we actually show how close or how far you are from the next report being due. But that's just a minor enhancement that I can add to it, like how close they are to being suspended or not. Funny enough, internally we actually have that. So the thing I was looking at was an internal list to know what they are, but I don't know why it has never
Okay.
just made its way to this. So yes, I'll do that. You get a couple of things, all of them can
Mhm.
do, including the JC's
Ratings.
rating. And I'll tell you, yes, I'll just leave it there to say yes. I love the suggestion. I look out for it. I will. If you are a subscriber, if you are a subscriber, DM me. DM me if you are or aren't a subscriber, and I'll give you I like the suggestion. I'll give you like a free week or a premium. So if you are a subscriber, you
Okay.
like off your thing. If you're not a subscriber, you get a free week or premium. Because I do like the suggestion. I will include it in there,
I
and
like
you
it
should
too.
see by next week. I'll enhance that a bit. We have quite a few enhancements coming that we actually have behind the
Yeah.
scenes, but I want to make sure you have to polish it before everybody can see it. Uh,
Indeed. Indeed.
but that one is relatively simple, and yes, you'll have that. I'm gonna say by next week. If you don't see it by next week, BrickTalk, you can ask me how come this session you never get it.
Sure. Yeah, man, and it's good that you actually can do it quickly. You have
Yes.
all that you need that you can do it quickly.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
it's
What
funny
we
that
can do is to just to be clear, so I don't overpromise. What I can do quickly is like around the due date and close to suspension and all of that, definitely.
yeah,
As for the
because it tells
JC's
a difference.
rating,
It actually tells a story
yes, it
versus
does.
just saying that the next publication is upcoming
XYZ,
versus
exactly.
saying they're
Yeah,
at risk at
yeah.
suspension. No, I have the information that I need to make an informed decision.
I agree with you 100%, and that is the point of it too. So, yes, we're going to do both, but the how late they are and close to suspension is quicker. You'll get that quicker. The rating, I want to be sure of my sources, like you said, and
Yeah,
I might want to, if I can't get a clean, up to date source, because as I said when I was saying it to you guys, I was using an older JC list because that's as old as I got, but we can do our own corporate governance list. I know the things that we look for, like how often is this company late, and I can show the criteria.
indeed.
Yeah, and I like not having to depend on another party to do it, because then boy, I know what I show this on this one. When I don't have nobody to talk to, we have it. Hey, this company has been late 3 out of the last 6 times that they were supposed to report. Over the last year, 2 other reports were late. They're on average, they're late. You'll see it on my money, Jay. I really like that suggestion. So thank you very, 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 very much.
All right, so that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
So you don't have no questions on the market?
No, not tonight.
All right. Well, thank you for the feedback. Thank you very much, and
Yeah,
thanks for waiting, because I know you waited a while while we were talking. So thank you to
yeah.
joining. So thank you very, very much.
All right, blessings on and on.
Yeah, man. Thank you, and thank you, Shay, for sticking with me while then I drop out.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It was
Yeah,
good.
man.
I enjoyed it.
And I'm happy to hear you back after a couple of weeks. So can't
I'm
wait to
happy
see
to
you.
be back. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
can't wait to see you attack the market, especially coming to this June end, quarter end.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Half
God.
year. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Looking
Man.
forward to the end of this quarter, the end of this month. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This is also my birth month. So yeah,
Oh,
definitely my month.
I'll make an extra money just for you, my dear. Wow.
Yes,
Wow,
please,
wow,
please
wow,
do.
wow. I'm not gonna give it to you, but I'm gonna make it I'm gonna make it because of you. And this profit is because of Shay.
Well,
But
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I
Wow,
like
wow,
that.
wow, wow,
I like
wow. I have
that.
a lot coming up. So big up, big up, big up. Thank you very
Yeah,
much,
man,
Shay.
for sure.
Yeah, man. And thank you to everybody else for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys found value in it. And we will see you guys again next week. Thank you and
Bye
good
bye.
night. Bye bye, everybody.